Live tonight on American Zombie. Like to say what's up to everyone. Sports zombies. That is the topic for tonight. And I got the link pinned to the top of the chat just in case. But yeah, sports zombies, man, we already know that they can cross the barrier into into a type of a type of mindset that makes them violent. It can make them extremely irrational. And when you look at how they push it in schools, so instead of pushing academia, when you think about it, they push sports. Every school, almost every school that I've seen, especially colleges, universities, has like this big propaganda for their sports team. I've even seen it hit elementary schools. So it's like elementary schools we see with sports zombies, but we also see, colleges and stuff like that. Jose, what's up, man? How's everything?
Yeah, man, what's up? What's going on, man? Thanks for
Yeah, I think your mic's a little low.
yeah, how am I sounding now?
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, the sports zombies, and I noticed that there was an elementary school years ago that I passed by. They had a cannon on the front lawn from like an old war. I don't know if it was. I think it might have been pre-Vietnam. But to think that a cannon was on the front of an elementary school lawn with like a memorial with name plaques and stuff, it really made me wonder, like, man, why would that be on an elementary school lawn? And then another one recently had like home of the I think it was the Tigers. And it's like, why, that whole zombification of oh, these are the Patriots, or these are the this name, or the we've seen it already with the Redskins. I mean, how much more, like, I mean, that's really messed up when you look at people like
the names
they're
get
not going to have a team called the Blackskins or the Whiteskins, right? But they definitely have the Redskins, right? That's kind of messed up. That's kind of messed up. The Cleveland Indians, right? That was a baseball team. I think they're still in existence with the mascot. Sports zombies follow them hard. I mean, when you look at baseball, baseball is possibly one of the most. Now, it's not the most boring sport, because golf is up there, man. Golf is definitely up there with again, ball chasers, watching old men chase balls, hit little balls, and crowds of people watching. It's kind of like the fight thing we talked about last night. If we analyze it scientifically, it's like, okay, so you're going to see a competition on one guy trying to punch another guy in the face while he's trying to punch the guy trying to punch him in the face as well. And this is like important. Yeah, they're fighting for the championship and all this stuff. When you look at the mind of the sports zombie, all right, so you're gonna go watch these guys chase a ball. They're gonna try to get a ball from one side of the field to another side, and that is gonna make everybody jump around. You got to be kidding me! I got to see this. And anybody can watch a game. Like if we were looking at it from a perspective of say a scientist, or like we were observing another culture, saying, okay, so they really think this is important. They think it's so important that they're going to talk about it beforehand. They're going to buy shirts that have the players' names, who the players don't even know these people. And it's basically a form of worship. It's basically a form of deifying a person who's chasing a ball on a field. And if that's not good enough, we got different types of balls. You can chase the oval ball, be an oval ball chaser.
you got the basketball Jesus.
The basketball. Oh no, I got to find that picture again. Yeah, um, it's crazy, right? It's just it's like it, I can't even believe I should have kept that picture. I gotta find it again because you know how they can only let you hold so many pictures. So yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. AP 530, good to see you, brother. He says grown men sweating following a script. It's amazing. And high IQ. Yo, you're so right, man. Sports are good till you're 20, then it's gotta stop. Yeah, yeah. And even before that, yeah, it just, I mean, just the fact that kids, I think it destroys the academic thing, and it tells kids that physical prowess is much more to be strived for than academic, than knowledge, than learning what wisdom and stuff like that. It's so okay. Just be a person who's strong and athletic, but not that smart, because that's what we need. We don't need smart people. And it's really sad that all schools have this. All schools. They have like they pump up the sports thing as if that's what the school is about, the home of the Tigers or the home of the Patriots. And then the colors, again, the colors. So they're mad when kids take to colors that deal with certain gangs and stuff like that. But what are they teaching them? That's what they're teaching them. And then when they don't want to be part of the sports team, they go to different type of colors. It's still gang activity. A sports team is like a gang. It's like an athletic gang that are very immature, and they breed gangs of followers, basically. I mean, it's crazy, man. I mean, the fact that Michael Jordan, they say, what does Michael Jordan and Al Bundy have in common? They're the two greatest shoe salesmen that ever lived, basically. The two most famous shoe salesmen, Michael Jordan and Al Bundy. They're just, Michael Jordan, people, it's easy to say, okay, he's an athlete, he's a basketball player. He's really a shoe salesman. He's really a sneaker salesman. Never, ever have I heard, and it might exist, but I haven't heard Jordan come out and tell people to stop ending each other off of buying a pair of his sneakers. And then they take it to the next level. They take a wrapper and they make a sneaker. The Yeezys, right? Is that what they're called? The Yeezys or something like that? Look kind of like some type of space sneaker or something. I think it was the Yeezys. I mean, a friend of mine was telling me you have to like enter a raffle and put your shoe size and all of this stuff to get a pair of those, to try to get a pair of those. And then people will get them and then try to sell them, and they'll make like double their money. They'll pay like 200 or 300 for them, and then they'll sell for like 750 to people that act like crackheads for those sneakers. You can sell them to, I think, over $1,000. There's other sneakers that are way more money, like most expensive sneakers, right? Let me look at this up and see what it is. Oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. The SB, what the Dunk, are 16,000. That's crazy. Jeff Staple times Dunk Low Pro. I guess it's the type of Nike. 24,000. You got to be kidding me. And the Holy Grail's dead stock Nike Air Jordan No Way, $150,000 on eBay. This tells you, oh, this is crazy. A Kanye West Nike Air Yeezy 1 prototype sold for $1.8 million. This is like the epidemic of stupidity. I mean, 1.8 million, even $100,000 for a pair of sneakers. I mean, they better be like jet boots or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you the disparity of wealth that does exist. If somebody would pay,
I don't even think it's disparity as wealth. It's stupidity, bro. Who's going to spend that?
Oh, someone who's just that rich, but like, cause
Your mic's a little low, a little low.
a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Yeah, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, it's a little loud. Yeah.
It's
Or
not
maybe
now.
like you're away from it or something.
No, I'm right here.
Just coming in a little low. Let me see if I can fix it. I can hear you. It's just a little low. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I'm saying right, like the whole thing with somebody spending like almost 2 million. What was it? $2 million? He said 1.8 million. So almost $2 million for uh, a piece of shoes. They're basically a piece of art at that point.
Yeah. Let's just say a million to make it easy, right? A million, right?
Even
It's
right
ridiculous, right?
per foot, 1 million per foot.
A million. They say, check this out, the Dynasty collection worn by MJ during his championship wins, fetching $8 million. So not even new sneakers, used sneakers.
With them. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, bro.
Though
That's
many other Jordans, mags, and exclusive dunks command tens or hundreds of thousands. I mean, this is I don't even know what to say at this level of sports zombie. The fact that people will pay that much. What about baseball cards and NBA cards? Collecting cards of, yeah, this is just ridiculous. You're right. You're right. It's just like I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me. I've heard of the baseball cards when I was a kid. I remember buying them zombified and then I didn't know about the basketball and stuff like that, but I mean, I look back at that and thank goodness I was never really into sports that way. It was only because there was a kid that played it and basically it's like I didn't have the adult supervision. I loved science, so I would have much rather study science. I used to go to a library and get books on lasers and stuff when I was like 11, 12. And yeah, but the sports, it's like they try to make intelligence seem like they try to shame it in a way. Like I remember when I said I wanted to be a scientist when I was a kid, and my cousin acted like, "Oh, why?" It's like, "Why would you want to do that?" And it just the stupidity is relentless. Again, the zombies, the family zombies, those are the zombies that we first meet in our life. Those are the ones that we're around, and then friends, they're next.
yeah.
But yeah,
Am I coming in? You
yeah,
hear
yeah,
me?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was gonna tell you earlier about because I was waiting for you to because you had the whole presentation right with the sports zombie thing,
Hmm.
and it makes me think about a lot of how it seems. The thing with sports is that I feel like it's also a precursor to a greater zombie than that, which is like the stupefied violent zombie. Like the just violent zombie that there's no reasoning with that it can lead that way because you see when people are at like events, right? The arenas and stuff about they're watching, and it's like the whole thing of the Coliseum, the whole thing of like you said before, like that. They announce like an event that has to do with violence or battles or fighting, competition, and it goes back as far in time as people really like wanting to like create like an arena for violence. So this becomes like a thing of saying, why are human beings so geared towards like those things? And it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder about like how that's all a way of like whatever's orchestrating the events as well to be able to control and manipulate the people off of those emotions of just like events where they have garbage food and alcohol, right? So then it's an arena for possession. It's actually, if you think about it enough, it really is actually like a sense of like an evil worshiping ceremony. That's what I feel like the thing
Yeah,
with like arena with the balls,
yeah,
because even with the balls,
yes.
it's
The
like it's like
ceremony.
and a circus,
Yeah,
you know.
yes, circus. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Indians are having the same issue with cricket. Yeah, cricket is just it's ridiculous, man. And football is wild. Wearing a helmet to bash your head. Yeah, and those guys, they have some serious problem with them and concussions, I think. Indians are having the same issue with cricket and Mexicans with soccer. Bro, soccer is so That might be the biggest zombie level sport in the world. What is it? The FIFA or FIFA, the FIFA, for soccer, I think. Um, yeah, what is the soccer championships? And the UEFA. So basically, and they go crazy. I mean, who's that guy who's like the biggest star? They call it football in every other country. In the USA, we call it soccer. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Around the world, they will put the day, the month, and the year, which makes sense. The day, the month, and the year. We put the month, the day, and the year. I mean, it's just so meant to confuse people. It's ridiculous. It really is like a mental gymnastic type of thing. Yeah, the soccer, yeah, I guess it's the UEFA. They get let me see, soccer fan violence, because that I've heard is they call it football hooliganism. So a hooligan, so hooliganism, this is crazy, man. Spectator violence, verbal abuse, throwing of missiles such as bottles, property destruction, and physical assaults. Was there fan violence at the soccer match in Germany? It left 79 people injured on Saturday. But I think this was last year. Yeah. That's crazy. They're going to see a game, right? And people end up getting hurt. Yeah, yeah. Cristiano Ronaldo. Yep. Thank you, that guy. Yeah, it just and it's funny with the Indians. When people tell me Indians over here, I'm very strict on words, because we got to know what we're saying. Otherwise, things are meaningless. When they say Indians, I say, well, when did they get here from India? When did they get here from India? And that's when people sometimes they either get defensive, or they start to realize, like, wow, yeah, that's not really a correct term to use, because it makes no sense. It's kind of like Europe being a continent, which makes no sense. I mean, you basically have to be sleepwalking on autopilot to believe that. Just a way to believe that the people here were Indians, unless they came from India, right? That would make sense. If they came from India, okay, then yeah, they're Indians. That's where Indians come from, right? It's like, okay, well, when did they get here? I remember asking somebody that, and they got defensive years ago. They're like, "Oh, well, and I said, "Look, man, I'm just asking a question. You said something. I can understand why they wanted to be called Native Americans, or really Native nations. That's what it was, but people didn't want to recognize them as nations. If you call somebody a tribe, it doesn't seem somehow it doesn't seem as bad when they get annihilated. It's not that many people or something. It's just a tribe, right? It's just a tribe, just like the tribes of Europe, of the pagans, the witch trials and stuff. It's just a group. It's just a tribe of, you know, the language is so insidious on the way it categorizes people in a way that minimalizes them. Minority. Oh, these people are minorities.
The significance of the words with the tonality and the presentation. You're definitely, yeah, you're breaking it down where presentation is everything.
Yeah, I mean, this is a minority, but a majority in the world. So if you look at the world, the people that are being called a minority are not a minority. And calling people that makes them feel minimalized. And people have said that there are people in the country that are marginalized. They're pushed to the edges, the margin. They're not really in the main view of the page. They're
Wow,
marginalized.
you're good. You're with the words
It's crazy, man. It's like,
now. Yeah.
I mean, this is something. And then back to the sports zombie, um, that guy says, I meant as in people from the country. Yeah, I mean, no, I definitely know what you mean with that. Yeah, because the cricket and stuff, yeah, that's straight. Like I think they got it through the Caribbean and other stuff like that. But cricket is, when I looked at cricket and I saw how they would, okay, it has that flat bat, like a flattened bat, and they throw the ball. It's got to, and I'm like, what? Why are we even taking the time to even try to play this sport? It's like, why wouldn't we be surveying the farm and making sure everything's all right, okay, food, growing food, um enhancing that system. We don't have time to play sports. If you got time to play sports, something's wrong actually, because you could be putting that time toward developing, refining technology, um looking, studying things that really matter, like food, shelter, and clothing. But for some reason, they have this machine that pushes the sports zombie agenda from school. And that's something I think people should take note of, from school. The fact that it's in everybody's school, universities, high schools, junior high schools, and it's put as something that is so important. Again, just like the fights, man, it's like two people fighting after school. You got some people that want to watch the fight, and then you got other people that go home. They say, no, I got to go home. I got to do homework. I got to get ready for tomorrow. I got other things. I don't have time to sit here and watch two guys fighting. Why would I want to do that? It keeps you in a lower type of vibration where you want to watch two people hurt each other. But there's not many adults that can articulate it in that way. They'll just say, all right, everybody break it up, go home, whatever. They won't say why. They won't sit down and really educate children, teenagers, people going to school on why it's actually extremely ignorant to want to watch two people fight, instead of saying, look, man, what was the disagreement about? Can we get past this? Is there something happening at one of these children or both of the children's home to where they're acting in a fashion that makes them want to bully people and fight them? And then the teachers really don't care, because they're there for a paycheck. I mean, when I look at some of the films of some of the teachers in some of these uh classes, and it's like, I mean, it's like a war zone. It's like a war zone. You'll have female teachers with male students that are very threatening, extremely threatening. I knew one guy who was a teacher, and he wasn't a big guy, and he was afraid to teach in the inner city. And I at first I was like, well, you want to help children and stuff, right? But then I realized, I said, yeah, there's no way this guy will get manhandled. Some of these kids, you got to know how to defend yourself. But then again, if you try to defend yourself, I heard that it gets really, you get the blurred line there where they try to, um, you know, they'll fire them from their employment, or they can even get charged. And I've seen videos of children just straight out hitting teachers. Like, I mean, teenagers, like, holy smokes. Like, I wouldn't look at the teacher as being wrong if they slam dunked them, just to be like,
No,
look, he's
but
defending himself.
no, yeah, you have to be able to subdue the individual. You know, like you have to figure out like how you're gonna, because I mean
Well,
honestly,
five
it,
kids in a
but it
class.
should have, yeah, you gotta have
It's
security.
gonna
I
be
think they gotta
hard to subdue one with the other ones. They might hit you in the back of the head. You know what I'm saying? It's serious stuff when you
no.
look at this.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've heard of that stuff too, and I'm like, man, that's a tough position to be. You gotta have security in the school. You really do, because then it also prevents the kids from fighting the other kids. Actually, that's how I feel, because that's the whole reality of like, look, you may not like the police, right? And I'm just saying this to say that the concept of government for protection isn't wrong inherently, and it would work, but you know how corruption messes with everything. So, stuff will go down, but you still need it to be present overall for the safety of the mass. Is
Mhm.
really reality. You know what I mean? Like the presence of that. So it's like, yeah, but if you're by yourself as a teacher and you got kids ganging up on you, that's rough. That's a rough position,
There was
right?
there was a guy that used to work for me. I had this company where we would do art and stuff years ago, and he was a teacher. He went to school for art. He paid 50 grand, and he wasn't a great artist. I tried to tell him, like, look, man, he realized that he wasted that money, and I think he also had a like he was able to be a substitute teacher, and he told me he filmed the kids standing on the desk dancing, and I saw the film. I was like, holy smokes! And he said that the fact that he filmed it, they fired him for that. They fired him for filming the kids, the behavior of the kids, just going buck wild, jumping on the tables, dancing. And he goes, yeah. He goes, they basically the school was like, oh, you can't do that. And I'm like, wow. So nothing about the kids jumping up and dancing on the tables, right? He said, no. He said it's ridiculous. He was from Gainesville, Florida. I think that's like right, like north, right underneath Georgia, like where it hits.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty far. Yeah, it's like getting like almost close to Florida kind of.
Yeah, yeah, he was up there and cool guy, but I could see how it bothered him. A matter of fact, he told me when he first went in, one of the kids told him, what would you do if I threw this chair at you? And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. The fact that a kid is gonna say that, it's like that's a level of like, wait a minute,
What,
this kid
what,
just said,
what
what would you do if I threw a chair? It's like what
you
that's
just got, yeah, you just got threatened by a kid, and at that point, you're gonna have to be like, listen, I'm gonna have to talk to your parents and the school principal to say, no,
He
I don't.
don't have parents. That kid right there that says that don't have parents. The fact that he got people that might be saying they're his parents, but that ain't parents, man.
No, 100%. So
Yeah,
this
for a kid to say that, it's like,
have
yeah,
like a guardian, it's a grandma, it's an aunt, someone who doesn't literally care about the kid and probably doesn't.
it's
And then that's
really sad. It's really
what,
sad.
what's crazy too. It's like I kind of think too. That's a reality. Even if a kid doesn't grow up without love from parents and stuff, and then they get into like what's the public system and stuff. Yeah, if they get raised by family that doesn't care
Yeah,
about them, like they were their own child or anything. It's like it goes down like this: the aunt or the uncle or whoever's like, look, you ain't my kid, but you're my brother's or my sister, whatever. You're their
the
kid, okay?
problem is if the parents say, "Oh, that's my kid," don't tell my kid what to do. Then you're stuck in between. Because I noticed that with
Oh hell no! At that
siblings.
point,
Yeah,
just
then you're like,
look.
okay, you
I mean,
have to
this.
really. It's a touchy area. Alexis, brother, thank you for the support, bro. He says, "Why are men obsessed with drinking beer, soda, and chips while watching grown men tossing balls around?" Man, bro, this is the sports you just explained. Yes, they are so obsessed with that because they have been zombified probably since youth to to engage in that behavior. This is what
Control.
I would say.
Yeah. It's a controlling mechanism of an. When the kids they watch the TV, because this has been going on for generation, right? As you call it, the idiot box. When you got children, boys who grew up watching this all the time on television, right? Well, if they were, what I'm saying, they were not being taught by nothing about their parents, about books or reading. Because even, before technology and stuff like really took off, like
Mhm.
obviously, people had still television, the library and books, and at that point, you could argue, okay, there was technology was there to distract you, but you could also still decide to, I'm not going to be distracted. But if you had generations, like once after it was 2 to 3 generations, it's like that's how every parent has raised their kid. And you look at them get zombified by watching, sports because that's what the adults will watch too. That's what the dad might watch after he comes home.
Yeah, yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah, the part of why they might be obsessed, and definitely watching the dad drink beer, the chips and the soda are just drugs. I have to admit, I was addicted to chips. I still am. I just, have kind of weaned myself off of them. Chips are ridiculously addictive
uh,
to me.
even
But
even the habit of snacking and this is the thing that I've realized that's actually pretty interesting about with chips and stuff is that it's an oral fixation, but it's a habit that just seems so integrated like to the human experience. people will munch on something in between meals, and then it
Well, I
will
mean, it's different. Think about it. They could be munching on a carrot or something,
Yeah,
that
yeah, have a great
something that's
point.
better, some salad, which I know is hard. Who wants to eat that? The excitotoxins in chip, you already
Yep.
know. It's
Oh
like,
yeah,
yeah,
drug.
it's like
Like,
stupid fuel. You want to fuel stupidity? Chips. So basically, it's basically what it is. So yeah, I would say it's definitely young, growing up zombified, watching grown men tossing bowls. I mean, it's a type of a fetish. It totally is. Alexis, brother, thank you for the support, man. He says the sports zombies tie into the junk food zombies. These people always watch sports while filling themselves with trash like soda and chips. The zombified restaurants put sports on the TV. That's actually a really good point. That's a really good point. The fact that you will have what they are called sports bars, right? So they'll always fuel in the alcohol with that. So they'll fuel the alcohol in with the sports bars. They'll, again, the trash like soda and chips, and this pushes them to stay in a zombified state of mind. It really does. Yeah, the sports ties into the junk food. The junk food zombie from the zombie spectrum. Yep. The food and the media. So media holds the sports zombies in there, which media is an extremely big category. We have the movies, the music, and this goes way deeper, television, internet, and on the movies and television, we see the sports. We see sports combining with the music. You ever notice musicians, rappers at concerts and stuff like that, at games? Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Alexis. Definitely, that's yeah. You're keeping it real with that. It's like they're obsessed with watching guys toss balls, and then they're eating the trash. The restaurants are made. They love distraction. Black Circle, good to see you, man. Yeah, they love distraction, man. Grown men in their 40s cheering men in their 20s running around with a ball. Oh my goodness, it just and they do belittle men that that don't want to watch it. I've been looked at as odd or weird. Oh, you don't watch sports? It's like, no. It's bad enough that I used to watch a lot of the MMA and boxing, and then I had to mature.
you
It
know,
still
I was
will
tell you,
catch me every once in a while, but I'll snap out of it. Be like, why am I wanting to watch? When I saw the amount of UFC fights that seem to be fixed, in my opinion. I mean, a lot of people, they have videos about it. Like even the Mike Tyson fights. I don't know if you've ever typed in Mike
hear me?
Tyson fights. Have you ever
Do you,
typed check that out?
no, I'm here, but you hear me or no?
Yeah, yeah, I hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, you hear me now. Okay, yeah, I was trying to tell you. The thing though, at least with the fights, is that I feel like there's something to the human existence with this stuff because sports is like miniature competition and in theory like a war, but the closest sport that really mimics something like that is just the reality of like mixed martial art competition, boxing, I guess, right, or like anything that's like a fight, right? It could be all that a competition of martial arts, but most of the time it's just yeah, like you said, the UFC and stuff. Okay, because it doesn't have to be rigged. It doesn't necessarily have to be. It's just it could come down to the reality of who actually like fights and stuff, right? But it's a reality, like you said, like when fights will get fixed, guys will take dives, so that sucks. But there's a part of us as I feel like men because a lot of times I mean women will watch the stuff too or whatever, but the guys like we're talking about it from like mostly from like that perspective. It's like you realize there's a reality to knowing that you have to be able to defend yourself or even attack if it was necessary. I mean, it feels that way. Like it's almost an instinctual that violence is something that's almost ingrained to the human existence, but it's definitely being fed and influenced even more so from I feel like the supernatural side. Because what else is like trying to keep people in that kind of state of mind, right? That's why I feel there's some type of influence over this. But You can't really. You can't. You're not living in this world. You're not going to
You
escape
know
that.
what they use the word that to make it not sound as bad? They call it a worked fight. They'll say, "Oh, it was worked." It's like, "Oh, so you mean fixed, right? You mean
Wow.
fixed." I mean,
Yeah.
if you look in Mike Tyson's fixed fights by Industry Hoax Revealed, I mean,
Oh
that
yeah.
guy really, I mean, I was like, wow, when I looked at that. I was like, this is a documentary. And you see the guy falling already when Mike takes the swing. And I'm like, wow. I mean, it really started to show me that the fix goes so much deeper than I thought. Now, I'm not saying he's not a dangerous guy. He's a extremely skilled fighter. But one guy had told me with the Floyd Mayweather, right? I think it was 300 million or something. He goes, they don't let $300 million change hands without knowing where it's going. He goes, this is just the reality of things. They're not going to let that happen. Football games, basketball games. This is why you always hear about, I think it was Franzese, I think his name is. The guy, Michael, he's has a podcast. He's a former mob capo who turned informant. And now he has a podcast. Same thing with Sammy the Bull. How many people did this guy off and he's not away? It just shows you that the law only applies to those who they want to apply it to. So what does that make the law? It makes it a big, we already know what's up. Alexis brother, thank you for the support, man. He says, were the Romans watching the gladiator games in the far past zombified? Yes. Yes, man. Excellent question. Absolutely. The Romans actually documented the zombification with let me see, they said give them bread and circuses. I think let me see who said this. It was a phrase from a Roman poet, Juvenal, and it could be juvenile. And it basically says how Roman emperors kept the populace content, basically, and politically passive by providing free food, the bread, and spectacular. So, a spectacular, distracting entertainment, circuses like gladiator games, instead of addressing real civic issues. So, it's a tactic to maintain power by trading freedom for superficial comfort and distraction. And this is what we see today on steroids. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. They were zombified like on another level. So the sport zombifying has been happening for centuries. Yes. For more than centuries, I would say for millennia. That's how long the sports zombification has been going. Yeah. Excellent question, Alexis. It's so true. It's so true, man. Responsive curve. Good to see. He says they never leave stuff up to chance. You're right. There's too much money involved while they push sports betting heavily now. It's so true. It's so true. Yeah, most fights aren't even interesting. When you look at the fixed fights, like they have some good videos on YouTube about UFC fixed fights, and also the Mike Tyson one. The Mike Tyson one is on another level, like the one with I don't know if it was Trevor Burbick or one of them, but definitely there's a few of them where it's like, oh yeah, this fight was definitely. They tried to make him out to be so dangerous, and it was a money grab. I mean, I would even go as far as to say the fight against Buster Douglas. When I thought I didn't. I wasn't a full sports zombie because I didn't like wait to see the fights. When the UFC came out, I was sports zombie for a while because I was like, okay, I gotta learn some of these martial arts. I met the Gracies and everything, and yes, it definitely has a self defense can save your life. It saved my life many times. But when you look at certain situations, it's not going to be enough. Like there's some martial artists that say, look, you got to get out of the vicinity. A real smart martial artist will foresee certain areas and not put himself in that predicament. I think there was a club in uptown Manhattan where this Dominican guy told me. He said, "Yeah, man." He goes, he was in a club. He goes, "I saw a guy." He was saying, "Die that night over a chair." So it was over a freaking chair, and somebody killed this guy over it. And I was like, "Wow." And he knew. He goes, "Look, man, something like that. Hey, it's not my chair, man. You sit
Yeah,
down."
that's just complete right. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I feel like there's a reason, almost instinctually. And I mean, you said from the UFC and stuff that came out. So you have been in the military, right? So you have been a soldier in the military.
Mhm.
You came
Yeah.
out, and then a while after that, you got into the martial arts side of things. But as an individual, see, this is the cool thing. It's like you kind of get to a point you realize defending yourself or having right. So definitely avoiding danger at all costs is one of the smartest approaches situations. But you gotta eventually stand on your own. And if
Mhm.
you need a weapon, so if you have a high enough caliber of a weapon on you, like as long as it can be concealed, but you
Well,
want to
even
maybe
that,
have.
you don't want to have to use it. Like in Florida, you're in a state where you can use it and sometimes get away with it, but it has a toll on using that on someone. I mean, imagine going to sleep, even though you defend yourself, you had to use a weapon and shoot somebody and it killed them. You're not going to feel the same. You know, the
Yeah,
best
definitely.
defense is not engaging in foolishness. Absolutely, Mark. Good to see you, man. Yeah. It's so, yeah, we have been zombified for centuries, like millennia on this thing. And that's the depth of the zombie, that people don't even see it after thousands of years. Because Rome was what, 2,000 years ago? 2,000 years ago, they were, and Greece, of course, they were zombifying people in Greece. I would even say Egypt. Didn't they even uncover something with the Mayans over here, having some game where they would have the rubber ball and the losers, I think, would get executed or something? I mean, these are some brutal, the fact that the phrase from the Roman poet, describing how Roman emperors kept the populace content and politically passive by providing the bread and the spectacular, distracting entertainment, circuses, gladiator games. These guys were so zombie. It's like I don't even like the level of zombie. It's just yeah. He was lamenting in 100 A.D. So this is 1900. Basically 2,000 years ago because we're in the 21st century. 100 A.D. lamenting sorrow, the Roman populace's loss of civic duty. And the bread refers to the free grain. The Again, today we see it. It's not even free today. You're paying for the chips and the hot dogs. And what is a hot dog? How many parts, unwanted parts of an animal, is in a hot dog, encased in an intestine filling? you know it just
The
it's a
zombie,
tough one.
it's the zombie creating ritual that happens at sports events because it's the worship of ball chasers or fake or orchestrated violent events that the the reality just is like watching another person fight another person. You're like,
Hmm.
this is interesting, but it's like, what is the purpose of it? Because if it was orchestrated,
To keep people zombified, to keep them, it's pacification. So if you're pacified, it's an adult pacifier. I remember I would wait when the first UFCs came out, the first, the second, the third. It was like 93, 94. Man, I would wait. I'd be like, man, the next one is coming in 3 months. And then as time went on, once I met the Gracies and trained and everything, and then by the time it hit like UFC 10, I remember I was in Manhattan watching it, and it had Mark Coleman and the other guys, and the Gracies had disappeared basically from that genre. I don't know if they sold it or whatever, but it was sort of saying that you start to see like, wow, this whole thing was a stage. And then Chuck Liddell, they were pushing him, the Iceman and stuff like that. And thank goodness I got out of it, because so many guys get injured just by training. In boxing, a lot of guys get the problems from sparring. When they spar, you're not supposed to spar as hard as a lot of these guys spar. In Brave New World, it says critics often link Juvenal's sentiment to Aldous Huxley's novel, where pleasure and drugs are used as a superior method of social control compared to Pain and Force, which is from the 1984 novel, Pain and Force. The superior model is pleasure and drugs. And that's what we see, like what Alexis was saying. We definitely see the fact that it's pleasure and drugs. And again, the pleasure comes from, it's a sadistic type of pleasure. I mean, ball chasers, watching guys chase balls, watching grown men, younger men. So yeah, you're right. A guy in their 40s watching 20-year-old guys chasing balls, raising their 10 years old child to watch older guys chase balls. So imagine the 10-year-old kid. One of my friends, he's a baseball zombie. His father, baseball zombie, right? So he was raised to watch guys chase balls. He was raised for that. And he is a baseball junkie till today. So I see how, when they see you, when a kid sees you so invested, like, oh man, he got a, he's about to get a home run or a
Wait,
grand slam, and they see that the
you don't have
person
to
is so
scream at the
invested in this.
the screaming at the TV. That's the thing that always gets me, is the screaming at the television, as if these people were listening to you, that they could hear you cheer them on or anything. And it's like, the people are in their living room. It's like it's an experience that when you see when a child is watching that, they mimic the adult. They'll mimic the adult.
They'll mimic the adults. Exactly. They will mimic them. They will, and that's the sad thing, is that they don't have that father, that usually fathers that watch sports aren't going to want to spend time with their child about, like, learning about stuff that actually matters. It's very rare. Very rare. They're 100% sports zombies. And honestly, there's a lot of guys that tried out for sports that got hurt, and they still don't put it together. They still can't add the 2+2. You look at some of these older football stars, they're all tore up. I mean, football has a high percentage of concussions. Football players and concussions. Pretty sure that's gonna. So they're saying it's a type of mild traumatic brain injury from head impacts causing symptoms, confusion, mood change. I mean, this is like CTE, everybody's heard of, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. It's a brain. It's from the brain getting hit, the neurons. I mean, it's not cool, man. I mean, this is something that you can look at Jerry Quarry today. He's all messed up. Yeah, it's absolute zombie behavior, man. Yeah, people destroy their TVs, their furniture, their team loses. Matter of fact, oh man, I should have saved the picture. There's a guy that just ended his wife in Florida, actually. It's in Florida. I don't know if you've seen it in the news, Jose.
Probably,
He,
I probably saw, like, and
he
they
ended
take
his
them like,
wife, and he bucked off. He shot his stepdaughter
wow.
because his team lost.
And he
The,
probably
the,
was like, he was
the
probably
wife
blaming,
the wife is
yeah,
ended.
no, and he blamed the wife and the daughter, like, you rooted against me, fuck. Can you imagine that shit, man?
It's messed up, bro. It's like, it's not
But
even really a laughing matter. It says here, Florida man ends wife, shoots stepdaughter after fight over NFL game, and she's pleading, don't, not to shoot her. I mean,
oh
this
my,
is really, really, and he tried to end his stepdaughter and then ended himself after an argument over
yeah.
Monday Night Football.
I mean, I think exactly. Like, I think if you went to that extreme, like if you lost your mind
This is something, but they'll never blame the sport. They'll say, "Oh, it was the
You know
guy, it
why?
was this."
I-
If
it had to be more. I feel like there probably could have been
oh
money
man,
involved.
it's the sports, bro. That's like people telling
With
me
the money
who
too.
came
With
on the
the money.
stream the other day. Oh man, who was it? Was it you or somebody else said that they saw people? I think it might have been Drew. I was speaking with him earlier in the week, and he said that guys have ended because he gambles, and he gambles like money, so
Yeah,
thousands of dollars and stuff because he
yeah,
makes a lot of money. He said guys have ended themselves in the parking lot. They have lost money at the casino, came out, ended themselves in their car, in the parking lot. He goes, this is a common occurrence. It's not something that's once, he goes, this happens. This
yeah. And
happens.
that's why they say, like play responsibly, man.
Well,
Like
no, well, that's okay. So, in other words, the casino can never be a blame, right? See,
no,
that's the zombie behavior. We're taught to think, no, it's not the alcohol, man. Drink
no,
responsibly.
you're right. No, but that's what I mean. Yeah, you're right.
But if it's a drug, oh, the drugs are bad. We got to get those bad drugs off the street. But if it's one of their legal stuff, oh, the alcohol, oh, nah, it's not the alcohol. You got to drink responsibly. It's not the casino, even though it just destroyed somebody's life and it's
No,
fixed, most
no,
likely.
no. The person made
It's
the
the
decision.
person. It's not the casino, right? It's the
No,
person, right?
it is the person. That's the
It is.
unzombie.
So you're on the zombie side then. So you're
You're
telling me
missing.
that it's the person's
You're,
fault 100% and it's not the casino.
no, listen. You're not listening to me. See, that's what I'm saying. You're creating now a context over what I was telling you. Okay, so like, just listen to me with it. The unzombified person understands the inherent risk and the issues with participating in some of the things that like man, it's living, man. It's living. But you got
So
to
you're
know
telling me
how.
you're telling me that, and a lot of people know this, that if you
But
go to a casino and you're winning a lot of money, they can ask you to leave, right?
so what you're referring to is the
No, no,
scenario of
no. Is
counting.
that yes or no? That if you're winning a lot of money at a
Listen, you're
casino, they
trying to
can
get
ask you to leave, right?
oh, you're something else, man.
No,
You
is
only do.
this, I'm just people have
Come on,
told me this. Now I
I'm
don't
trying.
go to casinos.
I'm trying to give you an answer as someone that because you're asking me
Well,
the
it's just
question.
a yes, it's just a yes or no answer. That's what I'm saying.
If you want me to answer in the context that you're framing it as
It's
just a
it's
yes
not
or
a it's not a context. This is not a contextual question. It's just saying,
no,
look, is it true that if somebody's winning a lot of money at a casino, that they can come up to them and ask them to leave? Say, okay, take your winnings, and now that's it. You're not going to bet anymore, but you won. We're asking you to leave now. That's legal, right?
so it's a private establishment, so they can't ask you to leave at any time.
So they can. So yes.
Yes.
Let me see. Okay, so right,
Here
do
you.
casinos
Right.
ask you to leave if you win too much? The truth is, most casinos are privately owned businesses, and theoretically speaking, they're completely within the rights to ban a player if they win too frequently. So, if you win, so basically, it's based on you losing legally. Why would you go there? Why would you go there? Because if you win too much or too frequently, then it's like, oh man, it's a problem. So in other words, it's a place for losers, basically. That's basically what this is saying. It's saying casinos are for losers, and if you win too much, they can ask you to leave. They say there's a 12-hour rule at the casino, prevents you from cashing out a big win and re-entering the game within 12 hours of your win. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. This is loser city, basically. So they're telling you if this ain't zombie stuff, you know, and look, another one. Casinos are private properties. They can kick you out for any reason without having to justify themselves. Holy smokes. Playing too well is one of these reasons. Of course, kicking you out is the only thing they can do. They can't take your earnings, prosecute you, detain you, or use force unless you resist. So I mean, why would somebody with a brain ever want to enter an establishment like this? rigged slot machines. But then again, like we were saying at the beginning of this, it's like, oh, so the casinos, it's the gambler, it's him, he's the problem. That's like, and I'm not saying the gambler doesn't have any responsibility in this, but that's like seeing somebody addicted to drugs.
You gave the whole speech about that to then come back and be like, "No, I'm not saying the gambler doesn't have it." That's what I said.
No, no, not 100%, but when you look at it, right, that's like, okay, I don't know if you have siblings or something, right, and you see somebody that you people you care about, you see somebody set up a business that's addictive, so you know that, wait a minute, this can get people addicted to it. Maybe they sell drugs, right, and it's legal, alcohol,
Mhm,
whatever, and you
mhm.
see somebody get addicted to it, and you say, man, this is wrong, that what they're selling there and what they're doing, and it's advertised everywhere, they're playing a big part in this. Now, yeah, yeah, whoever is related to you, that took the drink or whatever, you know, it's like you look at it and you start to say, I mean, it's on so many levels wrong what they're doing, but it's in a way to where it makes it seem like, oh no, they're not at fault. You know, it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. It really is. Alpha says, if all the zombies woke up today, what positive out? Zombies ain't waking up today, bro. There ain't no. This is why it's the zombie apocalypse of the mentally dead. It's like a zombie movie. There's no chance of zombies to wake up in mass. Let's just say half of the people start to wake up, right? Whoever is zombifying people, the zombie machine, is going to pay or is going to influence or push the agenda for the half that are still zombified to end the other half. It's like the gangs in New York when he said, look, if things get really bad, he said this in the movie, that they can always pay one half of the poor to end the other half. Now they don't even
Well,
have to do
you
that
think so I
anymore.
wanted to, yeah, I wanted to tell you at one point about like because you were connecting a lot of stuff like that, and what you just said made me realize there's just so much of like of a supernatural force that seeks to control people and to keep them in a state of aggression and frustration and sad and anger. You know what I mean? Like all those things. So like when you said that about being able to pay, like people being able to pay off other people, that's just that's evil. That's corruption. That's scandals. That's all those things. So the influence. See that's why I think that there's a reality to having power in a spiritual way because you get to know yourself. So if you know yourself, you know your weaknesses, you know how vices can affect you and which ones are your true weaknesses basically. Because the whole thing with being a human being and living and learning is you learn yourself and you learn life and you hopefully do better, you know like definitely a person from year to year, yeah, it may seem like there's a span of time that people, they'll go from like being a child growing up into an adult. Yeah, they participate in things in the society and it's influencing them, but eventually everybody should grow to a place that they have some critical thinking, and some of that might have to do with realizing, okay, so if there is a difference of right and wrong in some sense, like in a contextual sense, not so much morally, but about I guess some type of inherent understanding, right? You would know to be able to identify negative zombie behaviors and negative zombie situations. So it gets to a point because I remember being younger, but I still remember realizing it was kind of funny and weird for people to scream at the TVs and stuff. But I remember being young myself and participating in that with friends or family because there's a sense of community that comes from that. So the biggest thing is to realize you have to know the herd that you're choosing to follow and to be with. Because most people, they're never gonna truly be like, completely independent of anybody, because the way that society in most places, a lot of people just function throughout the world is they live in cities, they have community, they have that, and I guess there's just a thing of knowing, like, okay, like some of this is a little bit um like out there, right? Like depending on what practices or stuff like rituals and everything. But this is something that's evolved definitely from a long time, and it's
Mhm.
and violence, like the stuff that has to do with the violence, and even some of the stuff that has to do with like the drugs and the sex. Those things are there. Those things are out there in societies and cultures. People, they participate in the world basically. But
Well,
you have to know how to have a sense of responsibility in the way that you live.
in knowing that casinos uh, will prevent somebody from continually winning. So if they win too much on a regular basis, they'll ask them to leave. So it's based on losing, basically.
Mm.
What advice would you give a younger person that can gamble, they're over 18? Like, would you tell them, look, this is not a place you really want to be? Um, you know, it just, it's based on losing. They're not going to let you win. It basically, Alexis brother, thank you for the support, man. He says the esports, the new sports zombie machine, is esports the new sports zombie machine. Esports. Let me see, because I haven't. Esports, an organized video game competition where professionals and amateur play complete individually. Players compete individually or in teams. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is Zombie City. Holy smokes. Competitive gaming in human versus human competition requiring significant skill. Oh yeah. This is like this is global phenomena now. Popular word worldwide, especially in East Asia, Europe. Yeah, this is man, they are just finding new ways to zombify people. Multiplayer video game competitions. Yeah, I have heard about this with the Counter-Strike and stuff like that. Yes,
Yeah.
it's total. This is esport zombie machine. Yeah, totally, Alexis. Totally, man. And Drew Ma is a sports zombie in recovery. Yeah, he is. He has uh sports gambler in recovery too. Yeah, he has bet thousands, man. We've talked, and I don't know if you're on that level, Jose, but I know you're a very proficient player. Um, but yeah, man, the recovery. I mean, I saw what it did to my father and other people. I mean, it's like OTB and stuff is crazy, man. Off track betting. Google how many viewers League of Legends World got. Let me check it now. Um, League of Legends. League of Legends Worlds. I don't know if you ever heard of that, Jose.
Yeah, no, all these things you're mentioning. I grew up in the era where I would say, anybody could have been good at any of those things had they just applied themselves to study. There's a lot, man. There's a lot that with these communities, and that even, and then you've been mentioning a lot of things negatively about the
Oh,
casinos, but
smokes.
you do have a lot of people having, you know, amazing moments of their lives, like being changed from a win. Now, overall, yeah, if they're dumb enough to keep playing the money back to eventually lose it back, that's a
Well,
huge mistake.
have you ever heard I have never heard of somebody that won that didn't lose it back. I've
Well,
asked
people,
tons of people.
well, you have to see that you got to make money not just with gambling, but obviously with working as
It's
well, other things.
I
So that
just
way,
looked
like, you
the
have a win.
Alexis.
You don't feel
He said
the need.
he said League of Legends world viewers. Man, this is crazy. 6.85 million peak concurrent viewers, excluding China. Holy smokes, man! drawing nearly 7 million viewers. This stuff is off the Richter scale. League of Legends World. Oh my goodness, man. This is pulling people in on another level. Yeah, you're right, Alexis. This is like on another level of zombieism, man. This is
Because those
level.
because the thing is that the games came out actually very interesting enough, specifically with League of Legends. It came out a little bit before the pandemic, and I think because of the pandemic, a lot of like the esports and the video games that people would play online instead of like necessarily totally in person for a
Have you
bit. That
played it
actually
or not?
the League of Legends thing, no. Have I played like a game on a computer, like that I knew people who were friends from it that I already knew like from like in real life? Yeah. So I understand the sense of that community that people get, and that you can meet people. Man, if you think about it, like I'm sure you've heard of it. People have gotten married because of like games like World of Warcraft and stuff like that. Like what I'm saying, that they
Well,
literally
they've
find
gotten married, but there's also a website, Wives Against Warcraft, that people
oh
have
my,
gotten divorced because
oh,
they said that the husband wouldn't stop playing Warcraft. One lady was married for 6 years, and she said once he got Warcraft, he wouldn't stop, and they eventually got divorced. And then she started finding other wives. I had a friend who said he broke up with his girlfriend, and I said, "Why?" He goes, "He couldn't get off the video game." Because they had
yeah,
broke
no,
up and got back together. And I was like, well, why did you guys break up and got back together? And he told me, he said, he goes, man, he goes, I didn't want to go out with her anymore. He goes, I wanted to be with her, but he goes, I wanted to
yeah,
play the game more. And I
yeah,
mean, this is something where it's giving up, it's
yeah.
crazy. Alexis says that many viewers watching others play a game. It's, oh my goodness. At least real life sports stars are pushing their bodies. Gaming is just pushing your fingers. Exactly, man. This is, I'm glad you let me know about this. I mean, I didn't know it was that bad. League of Legend, League of Legends Worlds. Holy smokes. This is
It's pretty
crazy.
cool. I'm not gonna lie to you, Andy. It's kind of interesting. It's pretty cool because I grew up at a time where the arcade scene were starting to change from like people had like their local community arcades and stuff like that. That then like the video game consoles came out with online feature and online play for people to be able to play against other people from places all over the world. I mean, I get where you're coming from about how like this is like it's kind of like zombified in nature overall for the majority of people. And you would say, like if you're an adolescent, like a
Kind
young
of.
child, like I'm saying, like this would be like for like the younger crowds of people, right? For younger, because I think naturally as you mature, you just start to realize that these things were social excuses to be around others, to meet people, to make friends. But then you grow older into an adult, and you're like, all right. Eventually, it's just a sense of maturity. You're gonna start prioritizing the people you interact with socially to be people you date.
Well, if you can
So,
escape the addiction, most people will grow up into sports zombies, right? Into gambling zombies. It says here the grand finale was watched by 27 million people with concurrent viewership peaking at over 11 million viewers. This is crazy, bro. The League of Legends World Championship. This is like, and then it says in 2018, the final was watched by 99.6 million people, breaking 2017's final. This is, oh my goodness. Oh my, this is on another level, man.
yeah, I'm surprised you're actually that surprised about it, Indy, because what is essentially like the electronic entertainment for video games of like competitions, like
I mean,
world
but
comp.
this is like how Alexis is saying is that this is that many viewers watching others play a game. And they're just pushing the finger. I mean, this is on another level of zombification. Oh my! And then that guy said he's lost 4,000 at a casino in Vegas, casino in California. This is. I mean,
4,000 over like a lifetime or a year or like what do you mean exactly, bro? Because 4,000, that's not even a lot of money. Like
so you
depending on
think
what
to lose 4,000 at a casino is not a lot?
in a stretch of time. I'm asking what the stretch of time was and what you know what I mean. Like I'm asking, like, did he mean like in one bet?
He says at a Vegas casino. So I would guess it was at one time. It seems
He's in
like.
a
Oh, he says
land.
over a year. He says over a
Okay.
year.
Hey, but 4,000 a year
So
for
that's not a
entertainment.
lot. You're saying 4,000 a year?
Yeah, in terms of entertainment. Remember, MD, I'm just saying that
Well,
it
it's not
comes to
entertainment. Remember, see,
a.
entertainment's the way we with the label we put on it because betting sport casinos like a sport, right? We could say that that's like a type of sport zombie. Um, People go to casinos to bet on sports too, right? Not just the games that they have at the casino. Um, I mean, how many casinos are fixed also? It's like, how do you even if a casino is fixed, how do they even get charged? It's like the regular player. I mean, it just, I don't think it's a place that, and I'm not religious or anything, but I would say it's like a den of thieves. It's like you're
Uh-huh.
walking into a place that doesn't want you to win. If you win too much or frequently, they'll ask you to leave. So it's basically loser city. It's like you're going there. It's kind of like what Gambler Anonymous is saying. The gambler really wants to lose, right? It's says gamblers want to lose. I remember seeing this years ago. Um, So, and now they're trying to backpedal on it. Compulsive gamblers get caught in a destructive cycle where the urge to gamble, the thrill, the escape, or chasing losses overrides rational desire to win or stop. So, right here, it's showing how this is a serious mental problem. It can cause something very seriously. So, one is being a sports zombie to where the person is eating hot dogs and chips and drinking alcohol, screaming at the players, zombifying the youth and their family, whether it be siblings or offspring, and then it turns into that person that might do all of that stuff but then also gamble. So now you're looking at an even scarier level of zombie. So you have a gambling sports zombie at that point. Like, I don't know, like, you
Yeah,
said.
yeah, Julie, I was trying to bring you to this merger of a zombie like a while ago. Actually, it's from like the beginning of like you were talking about the sports and the arena and stuff, and like and then it gets hooked with the gambling stuff because the guy who shot his ex-wife or stuff, it wouldn't surprise me that he was also stressed out from having lost a bet. Like it wouldn't surprise me that was also another reason on top of that. So like maybe he gambled the rent money or something because he was like, "Yo, I need to like have money because if not, like we don't have like we could pay rent, but then we have nothing to like eat or like to pay other stuff or whatever." So he's like, "I'm gonna place this bet on this game, whatever." Next thing you know, and then they talk about because you're talking about rigged. You want to talk about the most rigged gambling that there is? For sure, it's sports gambling. Because like the thing with the casino and stuff, like there's a whole other thing about legalized gambling and certain other things. And in poker, you're not playing the house, you're playing other people, so it's totally fair. It's about the game itself. But anyway,
So they're saying 2 to 4 million people have basically gambled their life away in the U.S. and another
more,
5 to 9 million experience. So over 1% of the population are
uh
diagnosed gambling disorder. So now it's a disorder, right? Um, this is brutal, man. This is
yeah,
bankruptcies, broken relationships for those with severe addiction, moderate problems, impact. Potential gamblers often hide their issues, leading to financial ruin, credit card debt, up to 90% use of credit cards, and high rates of depression, anxiety, and trying to end themselves. Like how I think it was Drew that was saying people end themselves in the parking lot. Alexis says the highest money spent on League of Legends from one player is currently $535,260. Holy smokes. Oh my good, over $500,000. Holy smokes, man. This is
now
just
you know, I would
yeah.
tell you
And,
if
and
that
and Drew
that's
says he's a gambling sports zombie next level. Yeah, man. This is a serious, at least Drew is honest about his addiction to the gambling sports zombie. That's
I mean, you have to. That's what I'm saying. Like, you have to come to a point of understanding that, and you yourself, like you admit that you have a sense of zombie within you about certain stuff or whatever. Like, everybody in society is gonna get conditioned to some type of zombieism, but
would
you
you
have
say
to.
would you say that you're a sports or gambling zombie or like partially or not?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Poker playing zombie.
Wow. Wow. How much, all right, out of playing poker
Uh,
for the years you've played it, are you ahead, equal, or behind?
maybe a little ahead. Maybe
Okay, so
somewhere
out
like
of all, and how many years have you been playing?
to be like say consistently. Probably the last 4 years actually, because
Okay,
before
so
that,
4 years, how much do you think you're up?
um, maybe a couple grand.
Like three, five, 10? How much?
Oh yeah, like maybe like around that, like a small like amount of grand, like because I'm sure that when I think about it from the perspective of the money I've had like acquired and then like saving over time, like since like I've learned about playing cards when I was like early 20s, and then I mean I was even watching it even when I was younger than that on
So how much time over those 4 years? How
oh
much
my goodness,
time?
forget about it, bro. Like time wise, it's like a job. You basically, I mean, I'm saying like like taking it more seriously and playing like more consistently, like to the point where it's like I wouldn't call myself professionally, but I'm not a recreational player at all. Like that definitely changed when it seemed that
Drew,
I was in a position to not like if I lost, like let's just say I lost $100, right?
mhm.
Now being like a young college kid, like around my like earlier 20s to like now, you're gonna feel the pain of that loss because you work part-time jobs or not even full-time jobs, and you just start getting into working and you don't make much money, so risking even $100, you're like, this is gonna hurt if you lose. But you go through experiences of like trial and error, and like you obviously save money, you learn the game more, you learn from losing, you will learn why you lose when you pay attention to why you lost. So sometimes there's no way to say like luck happens because it does, but it goes in both ways. It goes in your favor, and I've been on the side of receiving amazing luck. Now, one thing they'll say is that luck doesn't exist, but or that it is like a combination of when preparation meets opportunity. Studying the game of poker and cards because there's various forms. There's Texas Hold'em, and then there's Omaha. Those are like the two general ones that most people will play. And to make it even simpler, it's just the difference is in Texas Hold'em you're given two whole cards, whereas in Omaha you're given four. The games are different. So I mean, you understand that, and you eventually you understand like in a way, like you said about like like the casino kind of feeling like it's like the house of thieves or whatever.
It's a
So
den of thieves. I mean, it says here that casinos
no,
can
well,
stimulate daylight during the dark hours. It can simulate it to lure players into remaining at the tables and slot machines. So basically, not only are they the den of thieves that if you're winning, they ask you to leave. So they don't want you to win. It's a loser based thing. And then they have lights that they're using to simulate daylight during the dark hours to lure players into remaining at the tables and the slot machines. So they're using things to lure you to stay there. I mean, this is some zombie like on the next level. This is like zombie creation and zombie maintenance. I mean, just the fact that they have something called a sports bar should make people think to say, wait a second, yeah, this is brutal, man. The kinds of fluorescent colors to keep you hooked, and it's true. Yep, they're purposely designed to trick your sense of time. There's another thing when, and then Drew is saying people leave their kids in the parking lot. Man, this is like brutal, man. This is like so sad, man, that people would do that. It's just, wow. And IKEA uses similar. I didn't know that. Wow, wow. They say that certain items on sale, they'll put them in an area that's like very constricted, because if you feel somebody else too close to you, you'll leave the area. So the places that have stuff that aren't on sale are big, wide, and open for you to look and hopefully buy. And the places with the stuff that's on sale sometimes are a little restricted to get people to move away from them if it gets crowded and go to the bigger open areas. I mean, shopping and all of that stuff. The casinos are a really good way to look at it. But shopping, it just
Hmm.
oh man, it just what do most gambling addicts play? They play the electronic gambling machines, the
Oh
slot
yeah, no,
machines.
yeah. Because there's no thinking in that. That's the thing. So that's what I was trying to explain to you a little bit though about games of cards. There is statistical understanding of probabilities and whatnot, and you get to a kind of a point that it always fascinated me. The deck of cards, it always fascinated me, and it always fascinated me to understand that so there's a structure of a game that makes the state of the connections of these cards have different numerical values and statistical outcomes of
Hmm.
like of winning or losing, basically. When you do some research in the homework and stuff, because you were mentioning about the whole like, oh, the casino will ask you to leave if you're winning too much. There's
Hmm.
only one specific situation that I'm aware of that's actually a thing, and
Hmm.
that's if you're counting cards at blackjack.
Hmm.
Now, and everything else like slot machines and poker or roulette or craps, like those games, like all those, there's nothing really the player can do to have an edge or an advantage over the house. And specifically, like I told you before, like the poker thing, it's like you're playing people, not the house. So it's a different, like that's a whole other thing. It's not like the same as, but when you talk about the place being designed to keep you there, oh yeah, it's a like what I'm saying, it's a if it's the Den of Thieves, you gotta have it nice. You got the bar area where the women are definitely hanging out with the mans and stuff, and like or friends. A bunch of golfers will come, they'll have the events and stuff. It's just the adult playground because people are there, like to hang out, to gamble a little money here and there, whatever. If they're like playing on the machines or the craps tables. Like a lot of people actually like say that you can have an edge on craps. Some people think, like 'cause you can like you got the little flick of the wrist or something.
This is crazy, man. Drew says, look up. I just looked this up, right? And it figures, um, it figures that Google's like, oh, we don't have no national comprehensive database on this. When I said how many people get arrested for leaving their kids in cars while gambling,
Oh
but
my
they're
god,
saying, yeah, and
that's
it's
insane.
ridiculous. So they got stats on everything else, but not that, right? Kids in car safety and advocacy group documented over 300 reports of children left in cars at casinos nationwide. It's got to be more than that, from 1999 to the mid 2010s. Uh, yeah, so Pennsylvania alone from January. All right, and this shows that previous data. I mean, just man, it's crazy when you look at the censorship on stuff that we need to know. We'd have to dig deeper, so I dug a little deeper. Pennsylvania alone, between 2022 and 2023, the Gaming Control Board identified 359 incidents involving 576 minors left unattended at casinos. Many of the adults involved were placed on an involuntarily exclusion list, and some face criminal charges. So the previous one of saying, oh, there's only 300 reports in over 20 years, it's all BS. It's like, because right here, within 1 year, they got over 359 incidents with over 576 minors left unattended. Now, I remember going to racetracks and stuff like that when I was a kid, and it wasn't fun. But when I look back, it starts to let me see the problem. I mean, racetrack stuff. It's like it's kind of like a roulette wheel. How do you even win? I mean, there's so many possibilities, and I guess that might be part of the lore to get
Red,
people.
the
Yeah,
typical bet is like just like one bet on red and black. That's it most of the time. And you remember you got the zero and you got the double zeros, which do affect the probability. The other thing too is also so you can
red
place
and
a bet.
black
There's
on a
strategy
roulette.
to betting.
It's not 50-50 on red and black, right? Because you also have green, the zero and the
No, yeah,
zero.
that's what I was gonna tell you. The zero, and double zero are, and they even have a triple zero. I've heard of this apparently. They even got a ruler wheel. Man, when I heard they got the triple zero, I was like, get the out of here, man.
But wait, I thought that those are notoriously fixed, the roulette wheels.
No, no, no. That see, that's the thing. The house has such an edge on that game. They don't. It's not a game that they need to fix. But that's why the probabilities for the payouts are what they are, because they make it so that in the game is studied. Roulette wheel is actually studied mathematically with probability, but like to design the bet payouts. But
Hmm.
I'm not an expert on roulette per se or the craft, because there's some games, MD. That There's some games that like I'm telling you, the house definitely has the edge in their favor. But
Hmm.
is there a sense of saying, like, I just want to try my luck, see what happens? Because playing the game is an experience in itself, and all that, like placing your bets and seeing, like, like, do you hit, do you win? Like there are people, and I'm telling you, like, whether it's a slot player that's just, like, hey, you go out there on the weekend with the
Hmm.
friends, you like a specific game, whatever, like you just, like, I'm telling you, there is a reality to, you could say, living responsibly, basically, because it's not just in the sense of the
Well, they're
casino.
saying
Well, no,
that
casino,
NASCAR
like,
sports zombies are, yeah, it's a bad addiction. Yeah, they're saying even the drivers get suspended indefinitely. Like one driver, Kevin Grubb, was suspended indefinitely after refusing a drug test. And I heard people watch NASCAR just to see the crashes.
that's crazy. Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, and
I'm
it's
not
like
familiar with.
hillbilly city. I mean, you're looking at Deliverance in the stands, basically.
No, yeah, no, I hear where you're coming from, man. I do. I get the points that you make. I hope you understand that. I look at it as, just having the sense of, this is the world we live in. So understanding, the more we understand it, the more we can better protect ourselves, but still know how to navigate and operate. Sometimes you have to know how to trick a zombie. It's like the Walking Dead thing. Eventually, if you watch that enough, they get to a point where they say, "Oh, wait a second, we put some of their blood on us, and then we also start walking like they do, just to, like, not have them mess with us." Then you can essentially evade the zombie scenarios, because you don't have to be into sports and football, none of that. But
Hmm.
having, like a little bit of, like, of awareness of, like, what might be going on in that and whatever, like, like, oh, like those people, that's their thing. But it gets annoying, though. It really does get annoying to, like, if somebody who wants to talk to you about football comes up to you and you just don't want to talk about football, but they're like, yeah, I got to
Because
talk about
zombies,
football.
yeah, it's hard to get a zombie not to talk about something. I mean, Alexis says, "Have I seen the pets?" Or the NASCAR sports zombies are off the handle, and the stereotypes, and yeah, it's based on. I mean, it's definitely lowering the intelligence level to sit there and watch cars going round and round. And it did say stuff about the drivers themselves, but this pet sports, like people watching horses or dog races, yeah, this is something that I have seen. It's competitive recreational activities, and you got people that are basically, I mean, they're zombified on this. So it's not good enough to just, well, it's not enough to just to watch zombified sports that they create. So they have stuff with the, agility courses, the finding certain scents. I mean, this is like obedience rally. What's funny is if they have like people watching the obedience rally, they don't even realize that they're themselves are in an obedience experiment to say, look at how obedient these people are in watching their pets be obedient during this competition. So not only is it the obedience of the pet, it's the obedience of the owner. And that is where something behind the scenes could easily be watching humanity and say, okay, like that Twilight Zone episode, the monsters live on Maple Street, basically. And at the end you see guys looking through it. I guess it's aliens that look like humans that are saying, you see, all we got to do is flicker a few things, get them against each other, and that's it. We don't even need to attack. They'll go against each other. And that's actually a pretty good episode. The monster live on Maple Street. is actually
That
a
sounds,
good one.
yeah, that sounds like a pretty cool like mind trip right there. But well, brother, I'm gonna let you go for tonight though, so I don't know
Yeah,
how
yeah,
long
we'll
you'll.
talk, brother. I appreciate you being here. This was a good conversation. I'm going to go forward and, yeah, you have a good one. Alexis says, MD, is the Olympics a zombie ritual? I need your thoughts on it. Yes, yes, the Olympics are so zombie ritual that if we look up, let me see, it was the one with the what looked to be um like it looked to be like like some type of thing that happened during the pandemic years ago. I mean, when you look at some of the pictures, you start to say to yourself, wait a minute. And the going back to the Olympic rituals, right? The ancient Greek traditions, the spectacles, focusing on continuity, and it is a zombie ritual. Key modern Olympic rituals. So the flame and the torch relay. So this is really good. I'm glad you brought that up, man. This is a good question. It was a Greco-Roman pagan ritual to the gods, and athletes used to run naked. Yes, yes, definitely some some very, very odd stuff right there. Um, it says here that the torch relay, a flame lit in Olympia, Greece, travels, through the city. So that's one. The opening ceremony is another. The parade of nations is another Olympic ritual. Olympic oath, the athletes, the judges, the coaches pledge to compete fairly, adhering to the rules. So we know that's zombie because we know people are cheating and all of that. Medal ceremonies, the medals alone make me wonder. It's like, so they're competing to win basically a coin, a prize. If that ain't like an obedience test, what is? Closing ceremony marks the end with the flame and the victory celebrate the content. Yeah, this is full of Olympic rituals. Let me see, because they had some. I think they're coming up in 20. They was said it was 2026, but um, previous Olympics. So previous Olympics. Um, so because they had some previous stuff. They had stuff that looked very suspicious with the jab. So there was something very suspicious. I'm not finding it right now. I mean, they try to change so much stuff. Olympic conspiracies, maybe it might be under. Um, and yeah, there is definitely something odd with this stuff. Brother Arabian, thank you, brother, for the support. He says bread and circus, so they don't rebel. They said yes, absolutely. We were touching on that a little earlier, man. The bread and circuses are definitely there to pacify. It's like a type of pacification. Yeah, Olympics also involves all sports. I've seen people watch others shoot arrows or guns. Yes, yes, there has been. Sons of God says the 2012 opening ceremony in London was a complete pre-programming for the Conan. Yes, yes, I can definitely see this. Let me just check to see. Oh, that guy. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, MD?
All right, man. Anything you want to add into to the um to the Olympic or anything else we were talking about?
Oh, it's insane. Like, what, like, so you know how like the Super Bowl is coming up, and people were having this whole like, they were angry because, Trump supporters were angry because Bad Bunny was going to perform at the Super Bowl, and it's funny to me because people were saying, oh, that brings us together as a country. I'm like, does a game really bring you guys together as a freaking country?
Yeah, it's zombie. Yeah,
That it's weak. It's weak.
yeah, yeah. Really, it's so zombie, it's just at a point where it's just like, man, you wonder. It's Alexis brother. Thank you for the support, man. He says, is the zoo some type of zombie sport? It's people coming to see cages animals and being entertained by it. It's another form of the circus. Yes, absolutely, man. Absolutely. The zoo is so circus zombie. It it dehumanizes people that actually go there to watch something else imprisoned. I've heard a saying that says that a zoo is a place where everyone is innocent. So every being that's caged at a zoo is innocent. So it's like a prison where everybody is innocent. And it's really sad, man, because when you see people go to the zoo, and we already talked about it, Oda Benga was put in the Bronx Zoo.
Heard of them?
Yeah, I mean it's horrendous when we think. Absolutely, Alexis. Yeah, the zoo is is a zombification sport that goes beyond like the normal. If there is, if that is the right word, normal, because there's no normal zombie. But yeah, zoos are horrible, man. They're horrible. I remember as a kid, uh, my sister lived in Southern California, and I did go to SeaWorld, and they would see Shamu, the killer whale. And I mean, I never found it entertaining. I never found it entertaining. It just to look at these animals in the cages just wasn't fun to me for some reason. And I don't think it's fun for them. Now they
They,
do have, I think, stuff where people can go to the edge of like a an ocean. They'll have like a wall that's glass, and you can look. The animals, dolphins or whatever, will come up to it where you can see it, you know, and they can see you. That I think is a much better way if somebody wants to view animals, or like safaris where you're in the cage and the lions and stuff can come up and look at you in a protective cage. Um, it's zoos are inhumane. Actually, there's a Twilight Zone episode, because I think Rod Serling made it because of the people that they had in the zoos in Belgium, the little girl they had in the zoo that we had talked about, and he made an episode called "People Are Alike All Over," and they were basically uh, went to Mars in the episode, and and they built a house for the for the humans that were there. I think Roddy McDowell was one of the actors, and when the people were looking at him, it showed him in the house, but there was a sign in front of the house that said uh, "Earth creature in natural habitat." So they had basically built a zoo enclosure for him to be observed by the Martians, who looked like regular humans, of course. But
yeah,
yeah. Mhm.
and do you remember MD during the pandemic when all these animals were literally like wandering into cities and stuff like deer and all these different and like the rivers with the water was becoming more clear. I don't know if you ever saw any of that.
Wait, the what? The animals? Say it again. The animals
That
were
that there were animals like deer and other animals and bears just wandering into cities and towns during Conan.
so animals from the zoos would wander into the
No,
rivers and
no,
stuff.
not the zoos from the forests. I
Would
mean,
wan- would wander into the rivers.
into the towns and cities. I don't know if you saw that.
No, no, I didn't. Wow.
There were
I
like
did.
flocks, deers, bears, and like all these different animals were wandering into cities in the U.S. because there were no people out.
Wow. No, I didn't hear about that. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's so animals. Let me see if it's got anything. Animals wandering into cities
during the pandemic.
during, because people wildlife comes out to play while humans stay locked away. Wow, holy smokes! I didn't realize that. So basically, they're that conscious. They're saying, you know what? We're just gonna. They understand. They're smart. Alexis says, "What's your thoughts on chess zombies and those who watch professional chess play?" Chess zombies clearly exist, man. I mean, I used to play chess. I haven't played it in about over a decade, and man, chess zombies exist. When chess seems to be a type of, I don't know if it's considered a sport, but it's to where I think there's a lot of games that are fixed too. The whole championship, all of that stuff, this thing with Magnus for years gone.
Yep.
And yeah, it's like, what am I watching? It's like, why am I even watching this? That I came to that conclusion a few years ago. And I was like, at first you're like, oh yeah, it's kind of interesting. But then you start to see where they'll say, oh, well, this person made a move and they're grandmasters, but why would they make a move like this? And then, they end up losing the game. And that's what kind of brought up a red flag. Like, it's so easy to fix a chess game. So yeah, they are zombie on the next level. The chess zombies, yeah, fixed. I would say, in my opinion, fixed chess games, and then the zombies that watch it. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I didn't know about this thing. I'm glad you let me know about that. That the animals were roaming during the pandemic thing. They enjoy freedom of a quieter world. BBC has an article on that. Wow.
And the rivers also, well, not just in the States, but throughout the world, the water was becoming clear. Like the waters of the rivers are becoming more clear. There wasn't as many people contaminating water.
Wow. It's saying that everything from elephants to giraffes to bears and deers traveled longer distances during the lockdown period. Wow. In highly populated areas, mammals moved less frequency and were closer to roads than they were before the pandemic. This is like, wow. This shows like the effect that people have just being they said the empty streets are attracting wildlife roam further into. Wow, that's a deep thing. I didn't even think about that. How did you just happen to notice it or something online?
Yeah, I mean, I came across it back then, but I didn't think much of it. And recently, I've been looking at this, and it's insane how these animals sort of knew how these things were happening, and I've also been looking at how conflicts throughout the world have affected the wildlife. And for example, you'll hear about the Vietnam War and everything, but what is often like not talked about is the encounters with wildlife troops would have, how they would encounter tigers and other animals in the jungles.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
yeah.
like and how like during the Bush War, like all the not the, I mean in Rhodesia,
Mm-hmm.
how that just would just like killed off entire animal populations in different parts of Rhodesia.
Wow, that is crazy, man. It's like the animals are like just witnessing what humans are doing, and then
Our stupidity, man. They're witnessing our stupidity.
yeah, it really. Alexis says, are sports players selected, or can a normal college student really make it in the NFL or NBA? I think they're definitely selected. The draft, the whole sports draft, the NBA draft, is to see, one, the physical prowess, but two, to see, can they be controlled? Because remember, they're controlled once they're in there. So yeah, I would say that a normal student has to join the cult. He has to be part of that cult. Like, even if he gets drafted, or if he gets a contract, even at that point, they can still get released, basically released back into society, back into the wild. And it's sad because when somebody gets to that level, it's like bringing them up high and then dropping them. And the fall can sometimes end people. They can fall into depression, into drug abuse, into abusive behavior. And we've seen this happen. We've even seen this happen with guys that play, say, even for 10 years, and they get hurt and now they're injured. Like the football, and especially, the football more than basketball, football injuries that end careers.
There's so many guys who literally like they came from poverty, right? And they joined like they got scholarships, went into the NBA, NFL. The majority of these guys, they end up freaking broke after they're out of the after their sports career is over. Some of them end up homeless. Some of them end up living the way they grew up.
It's really sad. Yeah, it's really sad. I mean, when you look at some of the fighters, look at Jerry Quarry. I mean, he can't even sign his name. His brother takes care of him. And we saw what happened with Muhammad Ali. Look at some of the way these guys, there's a lot of stories on YouTube that show guys that that are basically like bound to a wheelchair or still trying to learn how to talk again. There was a guy that fought against Chris Eubank, and excellent boxer, but the guy he fought had to relearn how to speak again because he was so damaged after the fight. And it's like, how does this even go on? It's crazy. And it says here, football injuries that end careers, severe joint damage, knees, ankles, spine trauma, herniated disc, CTE, muscle tendon. This is how.
And these guys, they know that this could happen to them, but the money, the fame, the glory, it just gets to them. It just doesn't allow them to look that far into the future. They're thinking about the now. Well, I gotta go, man. But I wish I could stay longer. But I might catch you on the next stream.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you for coming on and speaking with me, and thank you for leaving comments in the chat, man. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. Yeah.
Yep.
Alexis says, "Why do lottery winners always go broke?" Now, Secret Consciousness, man, good to see you, brother. So I'm looking this up right now. Why do lottery winners always go broke? And I've heard of it before. And they say they do so due to a combination of poor financial literacy, reckless spending, so like a lifestyle inflation, demands from family and friends, and a lack of professional advice. So a lot of those things. And I have heard of like the curse of some lottery winner type of thing. Sudden wealth syndrome, the psychological shock of coming into large amounts of money can lead to depression, anxiety. I don't think it would do that for me, but for some people, I could see the self-worth issues as saying that result in squandering, not seeking professional help, definitely hiring trustworthy financial advisors, or at least, if you're winning, even if you win, which would be a small jackpot today, $10 million, which I wish I could win $10 million. I wish I would win $10 million. That would be great. I could help people, but I would put away like $2 million. I would say, okay, 2 million, that's put into something where you're drawing 2%. So 2% of 2 million is 40 grand a year. And that at least is giving you something. Now, if you want to blow the other 8, which you're not going to have the other 8, I think out of 10, you're going to pay 3 in taxes. So you'll have 7. So even if you pay, so you got 7 and you put 2 away. So now you got 5 million to do what you want. You can help people. I would definitely help people. $5 million. It's like you could I'd build like a small little cheap hotel, friends that I know, but like, hey, you got places to stay, go around. Like, it would be fun giving the money away, but it's saying here that, yeah, people go broke due to these lottery winners always become gambling zombies. Why? I think it's because of the lack of guidance. If the way we were talking about the gambling zombies earlier, the fact that people, it's hard for people to say, look, gambling is something you do not want to do. It's dangerous. It can addict you very quickly. And once you get addicted, you might not be able to break that addiction. It's kind of like looking for a way to get something for almost nothing. And I've seen people get caught in this. You know, they bet $20, they win $200. They're like, holy smokes. And then that $200, they might spend most of it gambling instead of saying, you know what, let me just take the money and leave. It becomes gambling. They know how to play on different vices that we have. And if we're not strong in knowing how to prevent ourselves from getting caught in these things, these feelings, these modes of thought, then forget it. It'll addict you, just like drugs. I mean, drugs just, you look at some people and it's like, it's really, really tough, man. Jake, what's up, man? Good to see you, man. Oh, I think he hopped off. Yeah, the gambling, the lottery winners, the gambling zombies affect them. I would say also because they think that the money is going to last forever, which it's not. I mean, gambling, somebody could gamble their lottery winnings in a day. I mean, and that's what casinos are built on. They're built on taking people's money. And if you're winning too much from them, like we saw before, they can ask you to leave. Oh, chill out for 12 hours, whatever. And they act like they're trying to help you. Oh, you just want a large amount? We're going to ban you for 12 to 24 hours. So, you know, just so you don't, lose the money back, which we know is a lie. I mean, gambling zombies are just, I mean, the casinos are ridiculous. Yeah, even if gambling zombies do hit big, they gamble it away anyways. Yes, gambling is worse. Gambling, they will. It's addictive. It's a drug. It's probably one of the most dangerous drugs that's out there, gambling. Yeah. What's up,
Yo,
Jay? Yeah.
ND, how's it going, man? Where's that short?
Oh man, yeah, I was talking to Scribe earlier today. I just
Oh, come on, man. Clip it and ship it. Let's go, man. It's ready.
clip it. Yeah. You know, when I clip it, it's only gonna fill. I gotta figure out a way to fill the top part of the screen because it's made in the format that's like the video format. So that's what prevented me from just putting it up. You know, I don't want to put up the lower quad, but you're right. The procrastination of wanting to make it perfect, man. I forgot what we called it yesterday.
Perfection is the enemy of progress.
Yes, it is. I think Anna David said perfection is the enemy of done.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. Yep.
Yeah, because she's an author, and she said that her friend used to say that, and it is totally the enemy of done. I mean, I was working on the Human Origins book. Oh, the short. I played a zombie clip yesterday. Matter of fact, I played it on yesterday's stream twice, and it was a clip that I made. That's about a minute, maybe a minute more, and Jake and others were saying, clip it, Alexis, and then we're saying clip it from the stream and just put it in the shorts because it looks good the way it is. I mean, I thought I wanted to add in the other stuff because I added in the family zombies, the friend zombies, I think the junk food zombies, and I might have put the media zombies in and the schoolhouse zombies.
Yeah, but if you add too much, though, it would be too long. Like a minute, that's perfect. And then do another short maybe next week. And do the rest of them, and then like once a week come out with a short like that, with a couple of categories, and then just clip it and ship it.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. I would Scribe called me earlier. We were talking around 6 o'clock or something, and we just as usual we're arguing and stuff. And I forgot to mention it to him because I was just like,
you guys argue like brothers.
because I'm doing the book and I'm like, bro, I'm trying to to edit. And he knows about a lot of the stuff I'm putting in. And he's like, well, what if somebody asks this? I was like, look, man, I said, it's once I get this published, I said, it's going to be different. I said, I'm not going to be having too much of debates with it. It's going to be, okay, let me get through the information and then we can ask questions or whatever. Or I'll let people know, like, all right, if you have the book and you go to a certain page and you want me to say, okay, well, you wrote something here, could you explain? I said, that's probably how would be a better discourse in talking. And
I think that's a great idea for modern day books, man. Like, you're the author, people can actually ask you, questions. It'll bring people to your live streams, and then if you want to come out with a second edition or something like that, you could do it just digitally online. You don't got to print it again. You know what I mean? And you could even put something in the back of the book. Hey, during the live streams, ask the author any questions you want in the book for further explanation, and something like that. I mean, I think that's a modern way of books. Like, we'll probably be going like towards that way. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the author connects more with people. It's not like they're just writing a book and telling somebody to buy it. Saying, no, if you would like, every night I do a live stream, and there's a part in the preface that I put that ignorance has no prejudice, and then I write, but progress has never been halted by ignorance alone. It's accompanied by certainty, which is created by belief. So it's more like I put an example of certain experiments of how they were found, or innovations and progress were found by accident. So I'm letting them know, like, look, when I found some of this evidence, it was by looking for something else or just noticing something that I didn't go to purposely notice. And I give examples of I think it was Fleming with the discovery of penicillin, and he accidentally left a petri dish uncovered. So he was a bacteriologist. Where he studied Staphylococcus, and when he left a petri dish uncovered, and a mold was growing in the petri dish. But the bacteria was not going near the mold. It was actually retreating, showing a clear indication of antibacterial activity from this mold, which was found out to be penicillin. So if a person wasn't observing enough or aware, they might have just thrown it away. It was a failure.
I did not know penicillin is actually a mold. I did not know that.
Yeah, it actually is it's a type of here, let me see. Penicillin. It is it's derived from a specific type of mold because they had to purify it over years. So even though he discovered it in that way, accidental. So it was an antibiotic, basically, that was discovered by Alexander Fleming, from the mold penicillin growing on a forgotten petri dish. So I point to that in saying, like, look, you can see it growing on certain breads and stuff like that, cheese and fruits, like a fuzzy blue-green growth. Now, he didn't look for that. Alexa says, ask Jake his thoughts on the Army versus Navy game. What do you think about those, the Army versus Navy sports zombies, I think it was?
Well, dude, I haven't watched football for at least a few years, man. So sometimes, like, I'm at the gym, it'll be on the TV. So, like, when I'm on the treadmill for a little bit, like, I'll see a little bit of, like, sports highlights or whatever on ESPN or something like that. But that's about, like, the only time I've any interaction with sports. I stopped watching sports and TV, like, a long time ago, man. So I don't know. I don't know if you're talking about the current game. I definitely have no opinions on it. If you're talking about, like, just in general, like, the Navy college
like
versus,
Army
like,
versus Navy,
the Army college versus, like, the Navy college, I guess. Like, I just saw it as, like, another team in sports. I didn't really ever, like, see it as, like, a military thing. So I just saw it as another, like, just, like, stupid sport. I mean, I don't know. I didn't really have an opinion on it.
Yeah. I never got into that too with the sports in there. But I did remember they would have Army boxing, they would have Army sports, and they would definitely have them compete. Yeah, without a doubt
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, it was zombie. It was
You're not.
full.
Now you're saying like that. It's just like, bro, like when you're in the military, man. Like you're not training for sports. Like you're training for combat. And like the things you like train for in quotations is more like enduring and like enduring suffering. You know what I mean? Like, can you stay focused with a lack of food and lack of sleep and all these distractions, like mortars going off? Can you still complete complex tasks with fire overhead and all these problems? And do you have the courage to keep moving forward? Like, and they try to simulate this stuff in combat training, and then the real test is when you're actually in combat. And it is completely different from a sport, from making sure you get 8 hours of sleep and eating all the right proper foods and doing the optimal training and doing that. It's like combat is like the complete opposite of that. You are in extreme suboptimal conditions, and that's where your character is really tested. It's not tested on, oh, can you push the lineman, or can the lineman push you under optimal conditions? Like, that's just not. It's a completely different thing. So when they say like, oh, the Army Navy game, whatever, to me it's just like that. Just like, if anything, like it like delegitimizes like the military aspect of anything. It's like, let's put these guys in like no pads, and the field is completely muddy and slippery, and it's like horrible. It's like it's freezing cold. Like, put them in like horrible conditions, and like, and that would be something kind of like that would like still not even mimic combat, but that would be something to me where if I think you're going to have like military sports teams, it would be in like complete suboptimal conditions is how that game would be played. But you gotta keep the consumerism and sports zombies and consumer zombies happy, so you just stick them in there with the rest of the sports zombies, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
I remember the origins of football. Now they try to cover it up online, but there was something about football being linked to a war. So it uses military strategy structure, right? And language. And its origins are linked to preparing soldiers for combat, leading many to see it as a simulation or a metaphor for warfare. And
that's kind of good. Like the X's and O's and like the sweeps and the plays, and
yeah.
you know what I mean? That actually does make sense. I never thought about that before.
Yeah, it's sort of like a non-lethal conflict or conquest, but in reality, we see it can be lethal. Guys get concussions, they get hurt. It's some serious stuff. Divine Hazel, good to see you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Lieutenant Trans, what's up, brother? Hope everything is good if you're still in Korea, man. My commander said, if the Army wins, we don't have to do PT for a week and we get late work calls. Wow. Trust me, the Army gets zombified by these sports. PT is important for combat. Not doing it due to winning a sports game is insane. Yeah, man. It definitely,
absolutely. If they win, you don't have to PT, so you're allowed to be fat and lazy and lose your breath when you got to run. What a disgrace, man! Oh, he is completely zombified.
I remember when I was in, they said if you get stationed to Korea, it's like they work 6 days a week over there. So it's like by the DMZ zone, I heard it was much tougher. Like I had a sergeant who went there when he was younger, and yeah, they said it's the DMZ zone is that's no joke, man. That's the border between North and South Korea. I would think I think Lieutenant Trans was stationed over there, man. I hope you're safe, brother. Always a pleasure seeing you. It's been a while, man. The name is so great, man. His whole Lieutenant Trans.
Hey, that guy is awesome, Lieutenant Trans.
Yeah, he just and yeah, man, it's he's right. The zombie thing is just crazy. And Drew, you're right. Baseball is Masonic. I mean, I used to think, when you look at baseball, to me, it's an extremely boring game. As a kid, I remember playing it here and there, and I would always worry, because the ball, people gotten laid out. You can get concussions getting hit by that baseball. You got to be quick. And it's like, why am I even risking that? Standing here on a baseball field, we never had proper uniforms, whatever. But I mean, to put kids, instead of having a class about farming or something, or learning how to grow food or understanding nature, no, they have us become sports zombies at a young age. Like they try to see, okay, who is gonna adhere more to the zombie program, and it also, John Taylor Gatto put it as, it messes up the like, it says it eliminates some kids from the breeding program because the chicks are going for the quarterback and stuff like that. And again, it's not enough to just have football players. They have to force girls to say, okay, we're going to create something to be cheerleaders. So you're going to have girls indoctrinated to think these guys are actually better than the guys that are in the science class or in other parts of the school. So, in other words, a worshiping of idiots, because we know that most people on the football, basketball, baseball team are idiots. And, they grow up into the zombies of society. And yeah, sports on the whole, the sports zombie, yeah, it's something, man. Mr. X, good to see you, brother, man. Thank you, bro. Yeah, it's facts, bro. Spirit of Spicoli, man. Good to see you. He says the next to you do the next stream. So I think you're saying the next stream should be church zombies, and you should put Jake's profile pic as the. Oh my goodness, man!
Yeah. I'm driving. I'm telling listener right now, but that's good, man. That's funny.
Yeah. Lieutenant Tran says just PCS to Fort Benning, drill sergeant currently. Wow, holy smokes, drill sergeant currently, man. Pasted the DS training at passed the DS training at Fort Jackson. Wow, man. Wow, that is deep, man. You are drill sergeant currently? This is amazing, brother. That's like that's serious stuff, bro. Mr. X said Jake to reach a snake. That's hilarious, man. We got Drew Ma, rehabilitated sports gambling zombie. What's up, bro? It's me and Jake here hanging. Anything you want to add?
No, I'll just give you a little first-hand account in case you need it from a
On why people
lifelong.
shouldn't be gambling sports zombies, or
Why they shouldn't be?
yeah, or like your experiences as a previous sports gambling zombie, whichever one you want to give.
Well, I mean, you never know. You can't really tell people what they should or shouldn't do, in my opinion. I mean, in my experience, alcohol brought me closer to God than anything. So you never know like what people's experiences are and where it brings them. A lot of times gamblers actually can end up being very successful in business because you get so used to risk.
To scare people, right? And not meaning to scare them, but to shock them. How much have you won or lost this year?
This year, I've lost a few thousand.
5, 10?
Yeah, probably about 5, maybe this
Okay,
year.
so 5,000. But you make good money, so you can afford that because you're making over 6 figures.
Yeah.
But if you weren't, that would be a hard hit, right? If you were making like 50, 80 grand a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, should you?
And you're making double that, so it's not really, it's a hit, but it's not a hard hit.
Yeah, it's a hit. Like, especially for somebody like me,
year,
I was popped
2025, you've lost 5 grand on gambling.
in 2025. Yeah.
And 2024, were you up or down in gambling?
2024 ended up being down as well. A few thousand. But 2024 got pretty it was pretty hard to almost keep track of. I was gambling so much. I had DraftKings actually gave me $5,000 as
Yeah,
promo.
so if they
They're
give you
VIP.
$5,000, that means you probably lost at least double that. And so they wanted to give you more money to keep you gambling because they know you're going to lose
Well,
more
at that
than
point,
$5,000.
we had a whale betting on my account in order to get into their VIP promo.
Holy
For,
Yeah,
for
so you
my
had large
my best
transactions
friend.
moving.
Now you're
Yeah,
not
you had large
allowed to do this.
transactions, which was a lot of money lost, which is why they gave you 5,000. So
Yeah.
you might have
So there's
lost
so
5 grand. Your whale probably lost 50 grand.
yeah. So
So
there's
do
Yeah.
many
better.
moving
So
parts.
do they treat you better when you lose? Like do they come like, hey, how you doing? You know, like
Oh yeah, I you can get good the only way you're gonna get any like VIP good promo rewards is by losing. If you're a winning player, your account is alerted. Everything's kept track of with the data and the AI they use nowadays. They like say this year in baseball, I doing real good with the weather
so
here.
between last year and this year, you're telling me about 10 grand in losses?
Yeah, about that because the year before I
So now
won.
2023, the year before, were you up?
Yeah, that year I finished up a little over 7,000. So,
So
but
7,000
see,
up in
this
2023.
yeah, but that sounds like a lot of money, maybe to some people, but you're only talking about 1%. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about after gambling maybe $1 million, you're up or down a few thousand. Like it's pretty inconsequential.
Said he lost 25 bucks this week on football. So he's actually keeping it very conservative there. That's Lieutenant Trance is on CQ. Wow, you have the trainees waking them all up, man. That's yeah, man. That's Spirit of Spicoli says, Jake, wait till Lasagna finds out about this. You're gonna be in hot water with them. I don't know. Lasagna disappears and comes on every. Yeah, I don't know what's up.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Lasagna talked about he's tried to date someone before. Like, I still don't think trying to date a woman is a bad thing, and
No. I
going
don't.
out on one date and not smashing, and then just dipping out after that. Like, still say get the pretty black pill, especially what I said to her face,
Well, yeah,
and
no.
everything like that. And so I mean, so
And
I don't see, still don't see like the big deal about
I
this.
don't.
But sure, I
I
mean,
don't. Yeah, Lasagna. He probably won't come on. He's more into the other stuff. But yeah, with Drew, man, that is you know, yeah. When you think about it, man. So do you think like the alcohol made gambling worse, or did it wake you up from it? Like, what was the mixture of that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess last time I was in rehab, for example, they were very concerned with like gambling mixed with alcohol. Um,
Did
you
you
know,
lose more or win more when you were drinking?
at first it gave me the ability to put in like large bets that I normally wouldn't be able to do. Because the last 2 years I had football season, I was up 20,000. So, it's hard at
Wait,
first
how much thousand were you up?
for football season, up 20,000 for
20,000 you were up?
yeah, for 24 and 23 and 2024.
Holy
Not
smoke.
this year. But there's large fluctuations, even sport to sport, even year to year. Just because you have success one year or for several years, like one of the top handicappers right now, there's a big thing on like they call it like sports gambling Twitter on X as it would be now. Um, one of the top players who's won a lot of the sports handicapping contests out in Vegas. And then this year, he's down 100 units. So if you're familiar with sports betting, that's your entire bankroll. So 100 units would be equivalent of all your money that you would use for
How much
sports
money
betting.
would that be?
For a guy, his average bet would be in the thousands. So hundreds of thousands. So say he's down. Now he's still doing fairly well in some contests this year, but in 2025 he lost, I don't know, hundreds of thousands. Now if that's a $500,000, I don't know, but
That's crazy. What does he do for a living?
he's a professional sports bettor.
That's insane, man. That's
And
like
that's just the fluctuations year to year. Now here's a guy who's won the Westgate Super Contest on multiple occasions. He's won.
how much is that?
Well, he won it back in the day when it wasn't as big. So I guess $250,000, $500,000 in the realm of hundreds of thousands.
So he gambles for a living.
Yeah.
Is he a millionaire?
No, I don't think he is anymore. If he was,
Wow, that's brutal, man. Do you think that it's hard to just like live a normal life when you're the zombified trainees? Yeah, they are, bro. They really are, man. It's I mean, it just I heard drill sergeant, like it's extra pay too, right? Like being a drill sergeant. And then from when I was in, I remember they said the drill sergeants would get 12 days off after every cycle. They would have to go for like psych eval because trainees would drive people nuts. There's no doubt about that. I could easily see that. It's I mean, there was so much accidents and stuff. A little extra, and we don't deploy. Okay, so yeah, because you're stateside. Wow, wow. There's definitely perks. I remember I drew this symbol. They had me because I did art. The first sergeant had me draw the "This will defend" with the snake curling around, and I still remember some of my drill sergeants. I definitely do. Spirit of Spicoli says we can use ChatGPT to analyze all the players' stats. I mean, yeah, there are some. I mean, the gambling, the sports zombie on the whole. I mean, just being a sports zombie, I think, can open the door to the gambling zombie, right?
yeah, it's got even harder though because someone in the chat just said that you can use AI in these tools, but so can the sports books. And remember, they're setting the lines before you can put your bet in. So
Yeah.
they're having access to these, whether you're using weather or
Mhm.
referees information or information about
Yeah.
trends or analysis.
Yeah.
They're using all this to set their lines already. And now that gambling's became legal in, I think, all 48 states or close to it, it's gotten harder and harder to beat these books because these lines have gotten sharper and sharper as more people have came into the industry. You know, like with UFC, for example, and MMA, used to have a little insider knowledge just by training jiu-jitsu and doing wrestling.
Mhm.
But now with the legalization of sports betting,
Mhm.
like knowing who the
Is it
local,
legal nationwide or just states?
it goes on a state to state basis, but they started running through states once it caught fire. I mean,
Wow.
it's probably legal in close to every state now.
Well,
But
I didn't remember any female drill sergeants. Lieutenant Tran says they're dangerous. Wow, they'll try to blackmail. Wow, that's a tough one, man. You know, I remember when I was in training, there was two E5s and an E6. I remember those were the three drills that we had. I don't remember E7s being drill sergeants though. I remember E6. You know, I would think that they probably are, unless once a guy makes sergeant first class, maybe he goes to another level. Yeah, sports bettors. No, Drew actually has his own house, so he's actually a sports bettor that does pretty good. Do you think there's inside betting, like a pro coach secretly placing bets? I don't know, Drew. I don't know. I haven't gambled on sports, or I'm not a gambler. But he says, Spiritus Spicoli says, "Do you think there's inside betting, like a pro coach secretly placing bets?"
What do you mean by a pro coach?
I guess like a coach
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
Lieutenant Colonel. There's two E7 senior drill sergeants in every basic training company now. Wow, wow.
Yeah, so if you want to talk about that, there's actually 2 books out right now, and then all the way down to like Amazon specials. One's called The California Kid. He did a lot of time going from a USC Golden Boy to international drug kingpin. That's Owen Hansen. Now his buddy is Matthew Boyer. Now he just went into jail. Now he was taking bets for Shohei Otani's interpreter, who's also in jail now. And for those who don't know sports that well, Shohei Otani just won his 2nd consecutive World Series and his 3rd MVP. I believe it's his 3rd. And he's got these guys basically doing time for him. Shohei Otani lost 40 million to this Matthew Boyer, I believe it was, and he paid like 17 of it, and his translator and the bookie ended up going to jail, and he's winning World Series. But yeah, there's so many.
So there's a lot of stuff behind the Spiritus Spicoli says a pro coach on the team that people are placing bets on. Maybe he moved players around and purposely make the team lose. So
yeah, we just had it with the NBA betting scandal involving all 5 mafia figures out in New York, all 5 mafia families out in New York, down to the poker rings. Have you heard about this with Chauncey Billups? And
no, wow.
Yeah, you can Google that. It's an elaborate scheme where they used poker tables and NBA players and coaches to lure in whales in a poker ring.
That's crazy.
And then ended up setting up NBA games with coaches and players. That just happened. That is fresh off the press, 2025.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy, man. It just man, the sports zombie gambling, gambling is basically like a sport basically. And then, it's not just gambling, but you're gambling on other sports. So it's like a double sport zombification. And then, like you said, you add in alcohol. And the fact that it's easy, like that's another thing, convenience. The fact that a person doesn't have to go to the game or the casino, it just like it makes it more alluring for a person to be a sports zombie, sports betting zombie. It just everything kind of caters to that type of enticement to say, hey, it's easy to bet. And I would see people do this. I just never got into it because you need to understand the statistics. Alexis says the U.S. loves the number 3. CIA, ATF, FBI, NFL. Yep, the 3 letters, BLM, IRS. Yep, that whole 3. USA, the I forgot what they call it. The 3-letter, like 3 alphabet, 3-letter alphabet stuff. That definitely all. Yeah, it's always the 3 letters, man. It's always the 3 letters. It has FDA, the only ones that have 4, like the USDA, that's 4, but the FDA, Federal, Food and Drug Administration, which is basically, who knows, the CDC. Yeah, that's another. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, they really, and I think it might go even beyond that too, like beyond the U.S. possibly. I think Jake bounced. I don't know. Maybe he was yeah, because I know he definitely knows about the sports zombies, the church zombies. I think Spiritus Spicoli, the church zombie, that is a fun. We did do one on religious zombies, so we definitely had that recently. But sports zombie, man, they're everywhere. I think the Super Bowl or something comes up like in a month or two. The Super Bowl. Let me see. It's February 28th, Sunday. So that what they say, the Super Bowl is the MTA, ADA, exactly. Yeah, DEA, that's another good one. Wow, Nazis throwing them in there. But the Super Bowl, they say, is like, I don't know if it's true, the most violent day of the year is the Super Bowl, because I've heard all right, so they're trying not to say it is now. I guess before, possibly. So there, the myth, domestic violence, the reality, drunken driving. There's strong evidence for increased drunken driving. So you have the drunk driving zombies on the Super Bowl day that does increase. And unexpected game losses can increase violence at home. That's crazy. The fact that somebody could lose a football game and get violent with the people in that they care about at home, like this guy that just ended his wife, tried to end the stepdaughter, and then ended himself in Florida. It's crazy. It's literally crazy to say, wait a second, that's I mean. And how you were telling me people had ended themselves in the parking lot, right? From gambling?
I'm not sure, but they're certainly leaving their kids in the car. I'll tell you that much. Did you see that one article I put in there? The lady's name, her last name, she's 22 years old, left her kid in the car in cold weather. Her last name was Gamble, though. I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, it was earlier. I think you put it, let me see. I'm trying to scroll up.
Yeah, so you can't make some of these articles up, but
yeah, that's like some real crazy. Yeah, that is that's serious, man. That's real serious when I think about it. That was me, MD. I heard about people ending themselves in the parking lot. Oh, okay. Okay. It was Mr. X that was saying that. That's what it was. Grown men chasing a ball, man. Grown men chasing a ball. It's crazy. Yeah, I think it was, I did see you had put it in there. I think it was like baseball's Masonic, gambling. It was like Shaniqua or something. I think
Shania Gamble.
Oh, Shania Gamble. That's crazy. The fact that her last name is Gamble. That's insane. That's insane, bro. You think about that. It's like it's something, man. Sports zombies are definitely closeted. Yeah, there is a lot of that going on in the sports community. I mean, the fact that you got these guys, I mean, forcing guys, it's like you would think that guys have like separate stalls to shower. That was one thing I just did not like in high school. It's like, wait a minute, you got people, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like, well, why? Why? And Penn State, we already saw what the deal was with that. I mean, that was really sad what happened to those kids there. From the coach, from the coach. Yeah, it just makes you wonder, man. It really makes you wonder. But yeah, man. Yeah, they're naked in the locker room together, slapping. Yeah, it is the sports zombie, the sports player zombies. I mean, I don't understand. It's like, wait a minute, these guys, you're supposed to, what, you're making hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars a year, and they don't have facilities where they can take separate showers. It's as if they want to take showers together. It makes you wonder. It's like, well, why hasn't people spoke out about it? But when they train them from high school and junior high school to be used to that type of thing, to think it's normal, which it totally is not normal. I mean, I don't even think it's really sanitary when you think about it on that level. It's like, this is mental, being sanitary on a mental sense, but also physical. It's like, you walk into a shower, a public shower with no shower slippers on, you're at risk to get athlete's foot, many other things people have gotten. Who knows what else can, we already know stuff happens. It just, it's not something that, that I would think people would look forward to. But like, again, you might have some people that really look forward to that, man. Alexis, brother, thank you for the support, man. He says, yeah, what's up with the sports players slapping each other's asses? I heard they do it in the military showers as well. They say it's funny, not G. In the military, I haven't experienced that. Yeah, I haven't experienced but there is I remember like guys would actually have like an etiquette where you'd have like in basic training it was showers that were together, but at permanent duty it was separate. It was separate showers. Even some people got their own room, so it was definitely different. Even in the barracks and stuff, they had a level of distance. Some units possibly, but yeah, it's not funny. It's definitely not funny. But the sports, they try to play that off all the time, man. You're right. But I would say some units, yeah, it's I didn't see it in mine, but yeah, it just wow, yeah, that's with the sports, yeah, it's something is very weird with that. You're right. It's like it makes a person think, what's up with that? You're absolutely right, man. And Finley, brother, thank you for the support, man. I appreciate it. Says, thanks, MD. He goes, been watching since 2021, I think. Wow, bro. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And everyone else that keeps the stream going, man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, these streams, I think, are necessary for, I enjoy them myself, and I enjoy everybody in the chat, man. Thank you guys for being here. Lieutenant Tran says he's gotten multiple reports of trainees slapping each other's asses in the shower. They even tackle each other naked in the shower. Definitely sus behavior. Holy smokes, man. Tackling each other. Wow. That's really, that's crazy, man. That's so sus. That's so sus. The reports of trainees doing that, man. Alexis, man, you're on point with that. I didn't even, because I think it was a little, to me when I was there, it was a little more strict. It was like we weren't trying to it was like, look, any type of sus behavior, guys, we're calling it out. It wasn't yeah, I appreciate it. He said, I'll send more support once I get further in my career, but I hope it helps. It definitely does, brother. I appreciate it, man. And thank you. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you, man, for being here, for the support, everything, bro. Timbo, what's up, man? Good to see you. He says, the cleaning company I used to work for had an account with the Chicago Bears. We cleaned their training facility. They threw out enough shoes to fill a dumpster. Brand new shoes from only one day. Holy smokes, man. That's crazy, man. The Chicago Bears, that's like, I mean, you look at the excessive waste, brand new shoes from only one day. You got it, brother. Definitely, man. That's, when I think of the amount of excess that happens throughout so many areas in life, it shows me that there should be no need for want. There's so much of an excess. There was a guy that there was a video game in the 90s called Abe's Odyssey, I think it was. And I remember having it. I played it. I really liked the game. I think it was a PlayStation game. And Abe's Odyssey, is a different type of game. You don't have weapons. You go, you try to free the friends, you know, that were also in the game. And the guy was from the Bronx, I think, that was on the team that was making that game. And I read the pamphlet in the video game, the CD cover, and he said that he saw they would throw away fruits and vegetables from the store. And you know, they were required to throw it away. They couldn't give it away. And he would see like thick sludge of broken up fruits and vegetables, 5 inches thick, flowing right into the sewers. And it would be so sad because you got people that could easily, you know, they could use that food. And at the least, use it to fertilize the ground. Don't throw it into the sewers. I mean, that's ridiculous. And he started to see the immense waste that was going on. And it was really sad. And that's what pushed him, I think, to get on the team to make the video game Abe's Odyssey, which was based on saving people. Is a very different type of game, which went into other branch offs. Abe's Exodus, where, funny enough, I think Abe's Exodus, it was like an anti-corporation type of game where he was working for a corporation, and the corporation was using this brew called, I think, Soul Storm. Funny enough, Soul Storm, and it would addict the workers. And if they stopped drinking it, I think they would pass. So they had to drink it. And then in the game, they made it to where they found out that later on the Soulstorm brew was made from the bones of the workers, the fermented bones of the workers. So when I think about that, and I think that Abe's Exodus, I think it came out in the late 90s. Abe's Exodus, let me see, year 1998. Holy smokes. And that was part 2, dealing with the Soulstorm brew. And that, you know, it has me wonder, because you don't see stuff like that in a video game where they talk about stuff like this game is based on trying to expose the company for enslaving people to work while they drink this beer that gets them addicted, that they can't stop drinking or else they'll pass, they'll be ended by the addiction, by the withdrawals from the beer. And then the beer being made from the bones. Abe's Exodus beer made from people. I don't know if it has anything on that. Of course, yeah, it's a fictional. The drink shown as Soulstorm brew is made using ingredients harvested from the enslaved Mudakin people. So Mudakin bones, and that's basically the characters of the people. Family brother, thank you for the support, bro. I appreciate it, man. Always a pleasure, bro. Always helps, man. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much, bro. This is I'm so happy to do these streams so we can, you know, if anybody has any questions, please just, you know, ask it in the chat. I'd be more than happy to answer it. And to be here and to say, okay, these are the streams that once I publish the book soon, it might be early 2026, but it will be January for sure. I was trying to have it done this month, but going through the editing process, I realized, you know, things, I can try to push it, but things happen like the way it's supposed to happen. I figure it's got to be polished. Jake has a good point. It's like, yeah, sometimes, you know, perfection is the enemy of done, but at least it has to be adequate enough to where there's no typographical errors. Things that I say are said in a way that can be understood easier to say, okay, like when I mentioned in the beginning about the truth and how the truth happens to come to us, especially during times of innovation and invention and discovery. It comes sideways. It comes from the peripheral. It comes from an indirect way, and that's why I put the examples of the penicillin. The smoke detector was found in that way as well. The guy was trying to make, I think Walter Jaeger was trying to make a device to detect poison gases, and in his frustration, he sat down and lit a cigarette, and the smoke from the cigarette triggered the device. So without even trying to make a smoke detector, the truth slipped in once again, uninvited. If we're observant, we start to see how many discoveries are made in this fashion. Like, and I mentioned that in the book. I mentioned those two in the preface to kind of set the stage to say, okay, when I found out the stuff I found, which is, it's revolutionary, it's revelatory for human genetics and showing us where we could possibly have come from, how we were, how life might have started in some way, but definitely something with human genetics that I noticed saying, wait a second, this totally takes us in a different direction than what the religion of evolution is trying to push us into, to say, oh no, you're just material and this is what it is. And I'm saying, well, wait a second, these anomalies that we find in the genome that I happen to just come across about 12 years ago during an advertisement for surgery, for a certain type of surgery, that when I looked into it, I said, this is odd. And then that brought me down the rabbit hole to say, well, I wonder if there's other instances of things, that anomalies that we see. Drew Ma, brother, thank you for the support, man. It's always appreciated, man. And thank you for coming on the show, brother. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you, bro. Yeah, it's great to have these conversations, man. Drew, I've known him for so long. I've known Drew for about 15 years, and well, more actually. Well, yeah, around that. He was the one that actually, Drew had a show on Blog Talk Radio, and our history goes back where he was the host and I was the guest, actually. So it's like great to see that so many years later, I'm actually doing radio. He's always welcome to come on. It's always a pleasure. And he's pioneer. So I was basically, I did have a YouTube channel, but the Blog Talk days were beautiful, man. When I think back at it, it's amazing that they're not around anymore. I think they stopped early this year, or it might have been last year. But yeah, it was really wonderful, man, those days. And a couple guys still have their channels that we remember mutually. I think Lennon Honor still does his thing, a few other people. But yeah, Blog Talk was really cool, man. It kind of, YouTube's live streaming definitely put, like, it was the beginning of the end, because you just can't beat it. It's, especially if you have StreamYard, that's what I combined with it to make it so much easier to do the streams, because I can pull people on. We can have up to 10 people. I can show pictures and videos and stuff like that, which I'll start to prepare a lot more for the Human Origins book, because there's so much to explain and to talk about and to let people know, like, okay, this is what I noticed. And then as I went deeper and I started to see that the human organism and much life on Earth gives these signatures that are, it's not that they're unnatural, but they couldn't have happened by chance. And of course, everybody knows I'm not religious. I'm open to religion. I think every religion has a piece of the puzzle. Everybody has a little piece that we can learn from and say, okay, we take these pieces, put them together, and then we get a broader picture of what reality is about. We see it with the zombification, clearly. We see how zombies are everywhere. And then I started to say, okay, I have to be able to shield my mind from these zombies. And while I was able to defend my thoughts from being eaten away by the zombies, because that's what they do. They come to eat the thoughts out of your head, basically. which is different from a zombie movie. They want to eat the physical brains. In what we're in today, we see people, if you think differently, they want you to think like them. They might even ask you your opinion, but they don't want to know your opinion. They want to hear their opinion coming out of your mouth. So they'll ask you, and it's like, wait a minute, you really don't want to know my opinion if I don't agree with you. And I call those people the AWMs, the agree with me zombies. So if you agree with them, they kind of float away, or maybe they'll try to get into a zombie conversation. If you ever see two zombies, especially political zombies or something like that, they'll be throwing fuel on each other, happy, hating the other side or something like that. The political, religious zombies, the medical zombies, the sports zombies, especially, that we talked about. Kasparov says, I'm a total wrestling zombie. I feel wrestling is more real than any other sport on the planet. At least you know it's scripted, consensual, and rigged. That's a good one. Good to see you, Kasparov, man. Yeah, it's I mean, I was very much into a lot of sports in a way of, martial arts. I didn't watch formal wrestling, but definitely the grappling type stuff. And then I started to see just how fixed. And this is not saying that these guys don't have skill. They got intense amount of skill, but they would be fixes. YouTube, amazing. Anybody can type in fixed boxing fights. Mike Tyson fixed fights. That's a good one. You see some stuff that I never would have thought until I looked at it and I said, holy smokes. Not to say all his fights are fixed. It's just saying that they'll throw somebody in there, and this is how you get it to where the person, it's very hard to find the fix, because if somebody's thrown in there to lose the fight, now the guy doesn't really have a big chance of winning. He could, but they're making sure that he's going to lose. Now the guy fighting him, like when Tyson is throwing the punch and the guy falls, he doesn't know the fight is fixed, most likely. Tyson wouldn't know that. He knows that he beat the guy. So he's going to defend when somebody says, oh, it looks fixed. And he's like, wait a minute, I trained for this. I won that fight. So it's set up in a way that protects like people from really finding out how fixed it was. It really has me like, man, this is people that understands human psychology on a very high level. And they understand the group psychology, which is extremely dangerous, because that's how we're all manipulated. A few of us can see through the illusion, and we say, well, wait a second, man, this seems like it's fixed. Most of us also see that, but we still engage in it, because I mean, the addiction of it, there's something like we're still trying to make our way through the zombie apocalypse without being zombified ourselves, even though we all have a little bit of zombie, because we're all grown up, with the zombie spectrum. It is what it is, friends, family, food, media, school, medicine, politics, religion. And until I shielded my mind, I put the mental shields and I could see with the vision. And that's the way I was able to pick out these categories. I said, okay, there's 8 major categories. Friends and family are the first ones that we see. And then food, we all got to eat. So we're fed zombie food or good food by our family. We engage with friends. The media was the next one. Then school, we're forced to go to school, most of us. And then medicine, politics, religion. So that's what made up the vision, allowed me to chart the zombie spectrum. And then each of the 8 categories go into subcategories. The family, we would see father, mother, brother, sister, step siblings. It goes even deeper. Cousins, friends. We have virtual friends. We have personal friends, societal friends, and sexual friends. So it covers those, but then it even goes deeper. I have those charts as well. The food chart, dairy, bread, soda, candy, and a long list more. The media zombies in yellow, you have movies, music, television, and the internet. And just to show as how that goes even deeper with this chart into subcategories. So we go from the main zombie spectrum, media, which is yellow, to the subcategory ones in the line of media going vertical, into the in-depth one, the subdivisions of the media. So we have movies, and to the right, different types of movies: drama, romance, comedy, horror, sci-fi. Of course, that list goes on with different genres. And then in the different genres, it will go deep into the specific type of movie. So let's say, for instance, a sci-fi movie, like say The Terminator. And then that Terminator movie will have stars, action stars: Arnold Schwarzenegger, the guy that played Kyle Reese, the lady that played Sarah Connor, and then other offshoots of that, to show that people can even get zombified and follow certain artists. The second category, music in the media thing. So now we have rap, rock, pop, techno, country. And then within, there's even more, of course. You have trance, you have industrial, you have all types of different musics, which goes into the album, which goes into the specific song, the artist that sings the song, which therefore can zombify us on another level. So the shields, the mind with the mental shield, can deflect, say, the schoolhouse zombie on the left, the rap zombie on the right, to protect our mind from the crap that would actually land on the mind, which is being repelled by the zombie shield here. And being able to repel the zombies with the mental shield, like in this one, the power of thought from inside was enabling me to see. And then that's how I could see the different categories, which I said this has to be categorized because it organizes it for us to see, okay, this is what I have to watch out for within friends, within family. I have to see that. And we all know this. We have cousins and siblings, and sometimes our parents, there's always some type of zombiness in there. The food, media, the school especially. We did a whole thing on schoolhouse zombies, and they are everywhere. We see them today, thinking they're smarter than they actually are. So the zombie spectrum, yeah, it gets pretty deep, man. Alexis says, is it possible to be completely unzombified? For example, you, for example, are still a coffee zombie. I'm still an energy drink zombie. And Scribe is a Tupac zombie. Exactly. Is it possible to be fully unchained? It is a possibility to be fully unchanged. It's possible, but is it probable? In living in society, I don't think we can escape it fully. And the reason I say this, right, is because as much as we try to avoid things, right, like say we say, okay, sometimes I'll stop drinking coffee for a little bit and then I'm back coffee zombie, right? So I'm addicted to it. It definitely helps me edit and stuff like that. It's a drug. It's a warm, delicious drug. Coffee, without a doubt, zombie. Energy drink, zombie. But now let's just say we say, okay, we're not going to drink it. Got to be homeschool. Exactly. Drew, I give you so much credit for that, man. Homeschooling, man, you were pioneering with that. Totally. That's a must. That's a must. Got to be homeschool to prevent the zombification from the schoolhouse zombie. But the one thing, what Alexis is saying, that where I'm like, okay, the reason it might not be possible to be fully unchained. Now we can minimize this to a very, very good degree. But the fact that they're finding microplastics in clouds, in the air, in our clothing, it's very hard to prevent being a microplastic zombie or a nanoplastic zombie. Even worse, because those are 1,000 times smaller than the microplastics. The nanoplastics are just ridiculous. They're being found in all parts of our bodies. They're found in newborn babies. They're found in the placenta. So it's like that is like that's like involuntary zombies. It's like we're saying, okay, I'm not eating stuff that could zombify me. I'm being very careful about what I ingest. I'm wearing, certain things. Like I still wear certain clothes that's zombie clothing because they have part acrylic and the acrylics are made of plastic and that sheds and we inhale that. What we sleep on, most beds, if you don't get a specialized bed that's organic, you're going to be inhaling the fire retardants that are sprayed on certain upholstery that we inhale, and it's something that we don't even think about. So the level of zombie, man, those Asian monks, I wonder, are they completely zombified? And if the microplastics are so prevalent in the air, they're going to have some of them in there, but they could be unzombified to a very, very an extreme level to where it's like, oh, they're like very, very unzombified. Now, something is simple, even though they're wearing natural clothing, if that clothing has something in it, that, like, say, the dye to color the clothing, all these little things are where we start to look into and say, okay, what is this? Also, there's things in nature that can affect them. The fact that they're eating as natural as possible, I would think, and wearing as natural as possible, they are extremely minimizing their ability to be zombified. So that definitely, there is a way to minimize zombification. But as far as completely unzombified, I'm not sure if that can, because of the air, the water, the stuff that they've put into the water is just ridiculous. I mean, the fact that we have estrogen levels that are spiked with that, the atrazine that's sprayed throughout the country, these are some serious things. In my opinion, they are things that sometimes we can't avoid. We unknowingly, like, look at Love Canal, the story of the town that was built basically on a nuclear, on a waste site, toxic waste. Love Canal. Let me see if they have Love Canal. It was a neighborhood in Niagara Falls, and the sad thing is with Love Canal, it just it was created as a model community, a planned community, right? In the late 1800s now. So Love Canal was sold to a local school district in 1953 for $1. So we're seeing that, okay, this is the history, right? Selling it for $1, this school district buys after the threat of eminent domain, which we already know. Eminent domain is just some government grab, land acquisition, compulsory purchase, resumption. I mean, it's just some really messed up stuff. So over the next 3 decades, from 1953, so 63, 73, 83, it attracted national attention for the public health problems originating from the former dumping of toxic waste on the grounds. Now, this is from Wikipedia. This is on the internet. So I'm just saying to stay within YouTube guidelines to let people know, that this is real. So somebody moving to Love Canal, and I understand your question. How do I unzombify my kids? And will you make a book on it? Yes, I will definitely. Once the Human Origins book is published, I'll see about this. I had 2 more books in line for that, but definitely I will make a book on it without a doubt, for sure. The zombie spectrum, all of that, I will put it out there for sure, man, to unzombify the kids, because that's what matters, man. You're absolutely, I can understand the concern. The children are the future. So how do we unzombify them? One way, like Drew Ma is saying, one way is the homeschooling. And I know it's hard because it might not be, it's hard because not many people can homeschool. But if you can have either uh, the children's mother to homeschool them, while Drew actually he'll fund that so she doesn't have to work, and so now they're in a pretty good situation where she can homeschool the children. He's always buying organic foods, so he's making sure they're not getting polluted, with the junk food zombie. So they're not becoming schoolhouse zombies. They're not becoming junk food zombies. So he's making sure those two things are taken care of. And then the other parts of the zombie spectrum, of course, making sure that they don't dive into the politics, the religion, the medical. He's definitely keeping them off the medical zombie thing too, because he's very aware to that. So I will definitely produce literature and make a book on that, on how to unzombify. It's so important on how to unzombify the kids. And it has to begin early, because we know that if something happens, then it's hard to unzombify once it gets beyond a certain point. Now, some people can wake up, like we all are awake to certain things, and we see that we're addicted to certain things still. But being aware of that is part of the solution, because we're acknowledging that, hey, we gotta, this is serious. But like Love Canal, the people, they're looking for a better place, right? And the sad thing is they built this town on top of toxic waste, on the grounds. So it displaced numerous families, leaving them with health issues like the white blood cell counts, high white blood cells, and they're saying leukemia. So now instead of the government calling it a super polluted site, they call it Superfund. So in result, in Superfund cleanup operation, demolished the neighborhood, ending in 2004. I mean, like I said before, the language, man, the language is so important. Because I remember my brother-in-law, he would say, yeah, that's a Superfund site. Well, it's a toxic waste site. That's what it is. But they're going to allot super funds to clean it up. And where do those funds come from? The people. The people have to end up cleaning up what some company or maybe the government did to pollute it. So to say, wait a second, what is going on here? Love Canal is some dangerous stuff. Alexa says, at what age can I allow technology to kids? You can raise them perfectly unzombified, but when they're adults and exploring the internet, they get zombified quickly by politics or sports. The key to that is to not isolate them from it, is to let them know, like, look, this is like sitting there with them, like walking them through it, because they're going to ask questions. They're going to say, why are these people acting this way towards this political opponent? And again, you'd have to explain what a political opponent is. To wake them up is almost like being the Morpheus to the Neo and saying, listen, this is going to be a serious journey that lasts the rest of their life, because they're going to have to understand, like, look, what you're being told, the majority of it is to turn you into a zombie. And now, in a way, the child might have an easier way to wake up from it, because they might even look at it as a game. Because you remember, play is one of the highest forms of learning. When we look at things in nature, they play to learn. And they grow up with that, and it becomes easy, because it becomes like, it feels natural. Oh, Drew is here. I didn't see. I was on the other screen. Yeah, anytime you want to add in, but yeah, if you have anything with the unzombification.
Yeah, listen, I figure talk a little bit about, if we're going to talk about kids, I think we really need to talk about the homeschooling and just not putting them in the school system to begin with. What's the point of putting them brainwashing them, putting them on the school bus, brainwashing. Then you got to unbrainwash them, then reprogram them again. It's a lot of wasted time, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the whole society needs to be restructured. It's weird how my choice to not get a corona vaccine and not get my kids vaccinated and just one thing led to another, but
Yeah. In your
in a
opinion.
good way.
Yeah.
So
No, in your opinion. So that was your decision on what to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess most people, I guess, had a choice. Some maybe didn't, but
Yeah.
to not get a shot and then to not vaccinate them, and then that leads to them not going to school. So then that leads to a stay-at-home mom, and then that leads to not doing any really thing in a traditional society at that point. But do we really need two? Okay, now financially, we need two people to work to provide for a family nowadays. And I know it's tough, but we we let them drag our women out of the homes into the workforce and take our kids away from us. This was the premier zombification thing that ever happened in the history of this country. Was feminism. And we believe that our women are taken out of the homes and are given to these corporations instead of being mothers. Women are supposed to be educators, homemakers, providers, cook our meals, everything like that. And instead, we're letting McDonald's cook our meals. Not to mention, we're supposed to grow our own food, raise our own animals.
Mm-hmm.
I guess in order for us to survive this zombie apocalypse, we need more of a return, like an agrarian reform, as I would call it, to a society where people have access at least to growing their own food. But that doesn't seem possible nowadays with interest rates and uh, and real estate prices and all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, you're right. It has to start. Schooling is very, very important to unzombify because, like you were saying, if you send them there and they're getting zombified, and then the problem is they're around other children that are total zombies. So
right.
you got kids that are going to they're going to lure them into becoming a zombie. So that's
Right.
the biggest danger.
So even though my kids are homeschooled, they do
Yeah.
wrestling, and all the public school kids are in wrestling, and they already got the kids walking around going 6'7", 6'7". That's like the new like public school like zombie chant,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know about that or
6'7".
Yeah, that's like the new thing. Like it used to be like suck it back in the day when I was a kid with DX and all, but
No, I didn't know. Yeah.
you would probably wouldn't know, but that's the new zombie public school kid chant of 6'7", walking around saying that.
Wow. Wow. AP 530 says, yes, Scribe is a Tupac zombie. I think Scribe, like me, knows Tupac is a controlled dot. He might or he might not. I mean, we still, Alexis says, can my kids talk with other kids in the playground and whatnot? Or will that also zombify them? You Zombie Short said, if family can't zombify them, then friends can. Yes, exactly. It's so dangerous because it's like you have to be there with the kids. Just letting the children play with other kids and not knowing what those other kids are saying to them can pose a threat to become zombified. Like the kid might have a pack of chewing gum and your child might say, well, what's that? And oh, this is chewing gum. And if they happen to take one and they're chewing it, now they're getting whatever's chemicals, whether it's aspartame or something like that. So it's so important to prevent the kid. And it's hard because the kid will start to feel isolated, to say, listen, all these other kids are zombified. So until proven not zombified, you have to be careful. Don't ever accept any food or candy or anything from them. They might kind of, like when I was a kid, I remember they would talk about television shows. And then, you wonder like, oh, well, what is that show? Oh, you don't know about that? It comes on now, this day and age with the internet, it's just crazy. So that zombification, school definitely zombifies. But I think what's more of a threat in the school are the other children. So it's not saying that
right, like a
yeah,
cultural amalgamation.
yes, cultural amalgamation is a great way to put it. Exactly.
And right, so that's what's gonna like prevent somebody from being a genius or prevent somebody from
Yeah. If you put your kids in public school and they have genius capability, the school will dull that. It will dull that capability. It will have the child that could be a genius be slowed down to fit in with the other kids. Because it's, oh no, you're going too far ahead. This, and it keeps any type of genius, it keeps it down. So that's one of the big dangers of school, that if your child is ahead of the curve, oh, school is going to destroy that.
That
School,
alone, what you just said, should have every parent up in arms about not putting their kids in public school. And we should have a revolution by tomorrow morning.
well,
Alone,
think about
off
that.
of
If
what
there
you just
was a
said.
revolution, if everybody tried to, if the majority even tried to do that, they'll pass a law saying that you got to send your kids to school. I think there's some states that have mandatory schooling. What states in US have mandatory? Because I don't think New York is one of them. Schooling. Every state in the US has compulsory education laws requiring children to attend school or an equivalent program like homeschooling. So I just wanted to know if there was any, because I thought there were 4 states when I had looked it up years ago that you had to put the kid into state schooling, but I guess it might have expanded to where most states, it says here, permit homeschooling or other approved educational programs as meeting the requirement. So it does have that. North Carolina and Alabama, examples of variation from older data. So North Carolina and Alabama seem to be a little more strict, I think, if I'm reading this
But I
correct.
think this goes deeper than just the homeschooling and just the education. The entire American family home unit has been destroyed.
Yeah. In our opinion. Yeah.
I mean, look at the divorce rate. Look at the country. Look where we were in education. Look where we are now. Look at, I mean,
Yeah, they're saying all states it's supposedly legal, but it varies significantly with some states like Alaska, Idaho, and Texas having few requirements, while others such as Massachusetts, New York, and Pennsylvania have stricter rules demanding specific subjects testing and attendance records. So you must always check. And it's really messed up because with the schooling thing, right? The schooling thing, it's saying that it's like that old saying, if you send your kids to Caesar, don't be surprised when they come home Romans. So this is what's so important. It's like, one, the biggest scare what parents would say is, oh, well, how's my kid going to be social? Well, honestly, schooling can really mess a kid up socially.
exactly.
Bullying, they can come into contact with a kid that's been abused that will try to abuse other kids. Teachers, we also know that teachers abuse children. We've seen the instances of kids in junior high school getting abused sexually by certain teachers. So there's so much of a threat of what can happen to a child that's irreversible. Like,
Yeah, I grew up in the Catholic schools, and that is a whole nother epidemic.
yeah, I hear that. Yeah, the ruler, they hit the kids.
Rule no, the abuse, sexual, so widespread.
Oh wow. Wow. That's yeah, and that's sad because we see this with in many institutions. I mean, the Penn State school, wasn't it the coach that was abusing the kids and they had a statue of this guy in the
Yeah, Jerry Sandusky, so another local one to me, but
it's
yeah,
crazy. And everybody forgot about it. This is how bad the zombie thing is. They think, oh, that was just Penn State. So it's like, oh, so you don't think that's happening in other schools because they caught the guy at Penn State that was the only guy, and the zombies will say, yeah, well, they would let us know. What you mean the way they let you know about Penn State? They had a statue of that guy right in the front. They had
they had a Joe Paterno statue. I don't think
okay.
a Jerry Sandusky statue. He wasn't even the head coach. He was the assistant coach or offense coordinator, or no, he's defensive coordinator. Jerry Sandusky. He's they ran their camp local to us.
They
I played high school football in Pennsylvania, so I remember my buddy wearing the Sandusky sweatshirt, Sandusky football camp.
So they took down the statue of the other guy too,
Of Joe Paterno.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but if they took down a statue, that's who it would have been of. If that's what you're referencing, I could look it up, but it would be Joe Pa. His shore house was right near my uncle's growing up.
The Wikipedia thing is so brutal. The fact that this guy got caught and it and it was forgotten about. Alexis, brother, thank you for the support, man. He says, very off topic, but what happened to Luigi? I think he went away, man. I think somebody was saying that he went away because he was facing from what I hear, in my opinion, that he tried to bring a weapon on an airline. I mean, he was, we already know he's a loose cannon. I think it was like an LA airport trying to go to like Vegas or something. And this, guy tried to do something like that. So I think he went away. I think he
went. Who's this? One of your listeners or callers?
He was this guy was like a super troll. Like he used to threaten people and do all type of crazy stuff. Like this guy, his name wasn't even Luigi. He used to call it after some Bavarian king or something. I mean, you talking, I don't even know what level of nutcase to classify this as. I mean, you're looking at somebody where it's like, you would say, I'm surprised this guy hasn't been locked away. It was that bad. And then he was run by other guys like Hammer Queen and these other guys. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody has 843 says Luigi got sentenced to 20 years to life for attempted murder and bring a weapon on a flight. I remember he was they had the charges of bringing the weapon for a flight. Holy smokes, man.
Wow.
He's in federal prison as well.
Wow.
Holy smokes. And anybody can look his name up. We had his full name and everything. His father was a district judge. I mean, this guy was and well, Alexis, I guess that this answers it right here, man. This is, holy smokes, bro. So he's Hammerhand, William Hamby, who has a channel. I mean, he's been off and on YouTube. I don't even know how he manages to stay on YouTube, right? He is directly responsible in many ways of mentally manipulating that guy to troll people, because he mentally manipulated him to harass myself and others. And he'll try to deny this. This is in my opinion. Everybody knows the whole story from 2020 We have seen Luigi had a mental problems, and they what was the word, like they mobilized him. They used the rhetoric, and they had him believing in their cult. And it's really sad. It's really sad of how they did that to him. So those guys really need to be held responsible for that as much as Luigi. I can't believe he's, holy smokes, man. Wow. Wow. Yeah, it just yeah, the whole M Tau thing, and he claimed that, but yeah, he didn't act like it. It was sort of like when I had created the app for a developer, and I was letting them know. I said, this ITV had hit me to how it was basically just people in denial and stuff like that, and they weren't really walking it the way they were talking it. And it was a grift that many people seen, that it was like, look, man, you know, it just it's really sad when it's really sad. I didn't until 8:43 put this in here about him, man. I can't. This is like, holy smokes, man. It just it's got me ready to look it up, man. I'm like, holy smoke. Why though? What's up, bro? Good to see you, man. It's you guys are hilarious, man, with this stuff. It just, wow, this is really shocking, man, to find. Yeah, Timbo, that's like, I'm gonna try to look it up. I'm gonna see I remember his name. Let me see if it comes up. I think they had something with him versus the county of Los Angeles. Yeah, some guys even still have him on. Man, that is brutal, man. It's so, I mean, it's messed up because they were trying to use him to actually come and, he was threatening people, man. It was, they mobilized him, basically. I'm forgetting the word for it, but like activated him or something, like he was a sleeper cell or whatever. And it just holy smokes, man. Because the ones that really need to be away are basically Hammerhand and those other guys that influenced him, that pushed him. I remember he was like praising Luigi. And now the guy, if he's away for life, that it's messed up because he was mentally ill then. So I mean, it's just, yeah, it's a tough one, man. Because I think his brother was a police officer, his father was a judge or something like that. It's so sad. It's so sad that but I mean, he was pushing the envelopes, man. I mean, that guy made a video on YouTube with a firearm threatening. I mean, it just, and they thought that they were going to scare people away. And this is how messed up they were to do that. And this happens to this guy. And then they realize you can't intimidate some people. So I guess they realized that when they constantly were sending threats and stuff. And I'm just like, hey, to me, it's just another day. To them, it might have been like, oh, we're trolling this guy, we're scaring him. I'm like, listen, it's just another day to me. It's like, that's not the first time somebody has tried to intimidate me on that level. The internet has created certain types of mental problems for people that just goes beyond. I mean, it's hard to fathom almost. Like, look at the person that you look at some of these people that they have breakdowns mentally over just stuff.
Yeah, I don't know about the specific situation you're referring to, but conspiracy radio at 1 a.m. probably doesn't attract the best crowd.
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
Getting all the nutcases and lunatics and Luigis and.
Yeah, it was sad because the guy, I saw how he was mobilized by these people to try to scare me and threaten me, and he tried to scare other people too. They used to try to intimidate people that would come on my show. Like, they would try to contact you. and scare you. Oh, if you come on a show, we're going to dox you or whatever. And it scared away some people, but some people stayed. Like Scribe stayed the entire time with me. And it's really messed up. Like some people you can't intimidate. They couldn't intimidate us. It's like, hey, you know what? It's just another day at the office, man. Yourself, I know you're a tough individual. So it's like they try to do this. And I said, these guys needed to get in trouble for it. William Hamby, who plays his hammer hand on YouTube, and his channel's been deleted many times. He shouldn't even be on YouTube. I mean, he's a monster, basically, that sends people like Luigi to intimidate people, and then Luigi gets life. And look, this guy's still around trying to threaten people. I mean, William Hamby, and I think he was from Kentucky, but he's in Florida now. And he's affiliated with some of these other people that I know. And it's really messed up to see that, because it comes to a point where I wonder, it's like, how do they let these people get away with this? Alexis says, oh man, the trolls were really bad. Closeted men would come on and flash constantly. Yes, you remember. You remember the stream, the old channel, the stream was so crazy, bro. It was beyond anything that we knew from Blog Talk and stuff. When
would you have men revealing themselves on?
Man, we'd have like 6 or 7 flashes per stream, because we would stream. We would stream once a week on Saturday night. So basically, I owned Saturday night, and everybody knew that on Saturday night between 10 but before 12 p.m. midnight, I would stream. So some nights I would go live at 10. If I'm running late, 10:30, 11. The latest was maybe 11:50. But I did that for over a year straight. Every Saturday, never missed a Saturday. By the time 2 months came into effect, this was in 2020, the stream was like on fire. We'd have like 150 people watching live. We'd have 10 people on the panel. Then when I'd have different guests, I had a few guests that had big channels, Face and LMS, Bulldog Mindset, LFA. But when Face and Bulldog came on, we'd have like 280 people watching live. And the channel was only at like 4,000 subs, kind of like close to this one. But it was on fire, bro. It was like, and we were talking about, of course, a very controversial dating and relationships. And these guys were mad because what they were saying to grift on young men, I was like, look, that ain't correct. These guys, you know, they don't even know how to deal with this situation, because we see where they're at. They're the kind of guys that women don't really want to talk to. So they end up getting mad at women. And I was like, that right there shows you that something is wrong with them. You know, the way they were acting, and guys kind of saw that I could see through what they were doing. So they just naturally saw like, oh, I knew the truth. And I was not afraid to speak it, which they would try to intimidate people. And that's when they found, I guess, this guy and tried to push him to intimidate. And, you know, a lot of racism and stuff ensued. And they saw that I wasn't gonna let them infiltrate with that on either way. It was going to be like, look, my stream always allowed people of all different backgrounds to come on, and we were okay with that. I told people, look, I don't want, you know, we cursed a little, but I was like, okay, no, nobody uses the N-word, you know, and we're going to try to keep it like we got away with a lot more stuff 5 years ago on YouTube. It was different. And it just, these guys would, I mean, constantly troll us because we would tell the truth. We would talk about, look, don't ever, that's when I wrote the 48 Laws of Dating. Never trust a dating coach. Never. You know, these guys were dangerous. They, you know, guys would, they just, Alexis says, whatever happened to Jamal still comes on. Jamal Green, I think it is. MH, I don't know what happened to him, man. I think he was on the mental bandwagon too. And Batman too, man. He was kind of a weird dude, man. He's with, I think, Base Pluto. Base Pluto actually went total doomer preacher on his channel. And David Little, I don't know. I think MOT still has a stream. I think he still streams once in a while. Man of Tomorrow. And but yeah, a lot of those guys kind of dissipated, and we saw that, you know, Fresh and Fit, they kind of dissipated. I think a lot of people are seeing the truth about Myron Gaines, what he's about, the basically the fact that we didn't preach hate, and we basically were more about togetherness and saying, look, we can talk and have conversation. Some people fear that, man. Some people are really afraid of seeing people grow and become better human beings. They really are afraid of that, and it's so sad that they used this guy, manipulated him, and he ends up going away. And I think other guys probably went away too. I mean, we see just recently, what was that one guy? I think he supposedly ran somebody over, that the clavicular guy, and probably not even getting charged with it. It's crazy. I mean, I don't know if it's set up or what, but yeah, it just yeah, Myron Gaines completely switched to the new Griff. Yeah, just shaming. Yeah, he is so, like, it is so, it is literally to a point of embarrassment when you look at him, and it just, I can't even believe, like, and you know who's behind the scenes with him. You know who introduced him to the whole thing was Rolo and Pigwood and those other people directly responsible with Myron Gaines and the Frog. It's just that's why I'm so glad to be kind of separated from that and saying, look, when I started my first channel before I met Drew, was it was about knowledge on YouTube. It was about teaching. So I was in that sphere way before I had started the channel in 2020. I think I started that channel in 2018, but we started doing live streams in 2020 on Smash. I had my other channel I started in 06. So YouTube started in 05. And I started that channel in 06. And I went on for maybe 4 years doing it to about 2010, 2011. And this was before Google bought YouTube. So you're talking, it was the Wild West. They had the star rating system. There was no thumbs up or thumbs down. It was like, so YouTube was so free at that point, man. You can find almost anything, movies, everything. Once Google bought it, I think it was around 2011 or 2012, they changed a lot of stuff. And that's when I said, you know what? I went over to Blog Talk Radio. And that's when I met Drew, like around 2010 was my first interview on there, because somebody saw my channel and was like, hey, I want to interview you on Blog Talk Radio. This was 2010. So that was the first interview. Then I think I met Drew in 2011 on there, and around 2012. So like maybe 2-3 years, we were talking on Blog Talk. I met a few other people, and then I kind of stayed over there till like 2016. I think then I came back to YouTube intermittently. 2018, I started the other channel. And in 2020, I started going live. So yeah, I already had a history with YouTube, but it was more on teaching. It had nothing to do with when I came into the sphere and started doing the books. And yeah, it was a journey, man. It was a journey. I had to really get away from that whole, I mean, that whole vibe was creepy with Hammer Queen and them. Why though? What's up? He says Blue Cucks class is working on how to be an actor. Chad course. He said just be an actor, bro. Holy smokes! I'm kidding. He said it was going off grid. He was moving super forward. Wow. I hope he's all right, man. I hope. I mean, he was struggling with the mentality thing. So, I mean, yeah. I wonder, man. It just. I really thinks about it. I think the most dangerous grifter that I dealt with, I mean, it's between Hammer Queen and Pigwood, probably. Those two they're people that I don't think, I mean, authorities need to look at those people. The stuff that they've done to people, these guys, I can't even believe they're still doing videos. I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. So those two, is definitely between those two. I mean, Tomasi and them, they're still really, they're doing things that I don't approve of. To we see with Myron Gaines and Fresh and Fit and them. Yeah, I mean, but I would say, yeah, Hammer Queen and Pigwood, probably those two, because they try to send people to intimidate other people. And that's what the both of them, that in my opinion, have done. So those two, I would say, basically. And it's so sad because you see guys that don't understand. I mean, I remember Jawara. Jawara was practically, I mean, he was so moldable, and he didn't really, I mean, he was on medication and all of that stuff. I remember Angry Mormon, worried about him. No, I thought, yeah, he was going through stuff, but I think he was kind of all right. He's not totally. A lot of guys, they just needed to sit and talk to people, not get grifted. Like these guys were constantly grifting them, and then at that point they feel remorse because they got ripped off, and they didn't get ripped off for a little bit, and then when they try to complain, Pigwood or they would intimidate them. And I'm like, look at Pandemic, when he spent what, $500-600 with Pigwood. And then when he tried to say something about it, they threw him out the group, which was supposed to be a lifetime group on Facebook. He couldn't find anybody to talk to about it until he found our stream. And he was like, wow, you guys are actually open to talking about this. And that's when Base Pluto was saying that we were like, he thought it was an anti-PUA channel, but it was like, no, we're just guys talking about the truth. And it went. It was a pretty good run, but I guess I got to the point when I saw that people, when I saw what Hammer Queen and Pigwood and these guys were getting away with, and then people actually were questioning me, I said, well, yeah, this doesn't. There's no sense for me to even bother with this. Look at Dippin. The amount of guys that backstabbed after me helping them, I was just like, whoa, this is it's just not worth it. Wido says Clavicular Kid got so much influence on Gen Z. They really, it's so sad, man. So I heard he there was something with the car that he was involved with recently, and I think the guy got hit with the car. I don't know if he was ran over, and they said he was in a hospital or something, so he didn't get ended. But I don't know if it was staged or if this guy's being charged with something. But there was something that happened just like a few days ago that, I can't even believe when I look at the fact that the influence, like you said, with Gen Z, I can't believe they agree with this guy. And again, it just shows me that most of these people want to be lied to. The person that tells them the truth, they're going to be angry at that person. So, and, I told Scribe, I said, look, man, Human Origins, to me, this book is extremely important to come out with. And then like Alexis was saying, I do need to come out with a book to help people unzombify. That's a very important thing. But hopefully I'll be able to produce them. The Human Origins book, for sure, definitely for the month of January. That will come out early. Every day I'm working. I worked on it earlier today, and getting ready for the stream. I said, okay, let me do this first. So tomorrow, if I remember to, I do want to clip that video and put that short up of the zombie thing, and again get through the second, third chapters, because the book is not going to be a long book. It's going to be readable to where it can be reread, because it deals with so much scientific evidence to say, okay, it's something that I can talk with people on a show and go over it. Tomorrow's stream, I was debating on like a philosophical question of what is the most important question. I was actually going to name one yesterday or today's stream that, but it's let's say it's like 1 o'clock here. I was thinking something like that. If you have any ideas, I'm I'm still open to them, of course, bro. It's like I don't know if it should be a type of media zombie like tonight with sports zombies. The media zombies have like so much the news possible, what's going on with the crime in the news. I mean, I don't know if people saw what was going on with this guy Jesse Butler. I mean, two young women. I mean, what he did, and he was going to get 78 years, and now they gave him community service. It's almost an unbelievable. Like just yeah, and definitely yeah. I will do a future stream on how to raise children and unzombify them. That's a very important stream. I know it's late. Drew is probably coming back from work, so he hopped off. But the homeschooling, yeah, definitely something like that, man, without a doubt. But yeah, man, I appreciate all you guys here, man. I appreciate the support. Thank you for your questions, your support, man. Everybody that came on the panel, I appreciate it. It's a little after 1 a.m. here. I'll stream tonight without a doubt, man. Thank you, brother. You sleep well too, bro. Everybody in the chat, thank you. Everybody that came on, thank you. Take care and have a good night.